think I am at least. Can I count? 5? Yeah, 5. We're good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a thing that we're doing. A fun thing. We are joined today by April Hill from the Initiative Order. I'm very, very excited. We've wanted to get a guest on for months, and now it is finally happening. We've made it, folks. We welcome, say hello to our millions of fans. Don't look in the flash of the cameras, though. You might hurt your eyes.
Nice, that was good.
Oh my gosh.
We were gonna do a couple things, and then we weren't gonna do a couple things, and then of course, things happen, and we're here anyways. So we're gonna get through it together, just like we do every week. First, let us thank April for coming. April, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi everybody. My name is April Hill. You can find me at stiletto_assassin on Instagram and stiletto DM on Twitter. I am the social media person for the Initiative Order. I help with doing all that kind of stuff. I am also the overseer for Vault, which is a Fallout TTRPG campaign using the 2D20 system by Modifius. That's every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. on the Initiative Order. Also, I'm a voice actor, just a nerdy bookworm, TTRPG performer. I also run games for Wounded Warrior Project, teaching veterans the new Fallout game, as well as running Dungeons and Dragons games for veterans. So it's really special, and yeah.
That's awesome. So we are doing this with sponsors as well. So we have first is Band of Badgers. They are a Discord, Twitch, YouTube community that is similar to the Initiative Order, where they play a bunch of different games, and it's long form campaigns, and they usually bring in a lot of content creators, and they've opened it up lately to pretty much anyone that wants to come and hang out. A year ago I met Dave, and I was able to get on, and I'm still friends with him to this day, and we're gonna hopefully have him on, I think, in September to join us here. And then also Session Zero, it's a Dungeons and Dragons inspired clothing company that I own. I'm very, very excited. I'm going to be putting through, yep, there we go. There's some Session Zero merch. Hello. Going to be putting through an order this week for some fall time apparel. I'm very, very excited about the designs. I cannot wait to put them out. I'm super, super stoked on them. And then last is the Initiative Order. I know that you just did like a quick rundown of who you are, but do you want to talk about the Initiative Order, and we'll use that as our jump off?
Sure. So the Initiative Order, we're a group of friends who get together and we love inclusivity and diversity in our games. We play just a variety of games, not necessarily just Dungeons and Dragons, which because a lot of people, that's really kind of where they get their start with TTRPGs, is Dungeons and Dragons, because it's the big one. It's one of the most well-known one, other than Pathfinder and all that. So, but we like to explore other TTRPGs that are out there that don't get as much love. So we have a wide variety of games, and we're growing every day. We've got new games and campaigns that are coming out very soon, and some that just started. So, but we enjoy bringing in new people into our games. We don't want to see the same faces in every single game, because that's boring. Like, everybody should be able to play. It shouldn't just be about, oh, how many followers do you have on Instagram, and how can you make us famous as a network? Because no, we're not a network. We're just friends that are having fun and want to play games together. And if you tip us a couple bucks on Ko-Fi, then cool. If you want to subscribe and donate bits, that's great. But really, we're just having fun. So, yeah.
No, it's awesome. I met Danny about 6 months ago, I think, and it was like I'm really hard. Not really hard. I'm really. I have a hard time meeting new people, and the virtual spaces made it a lot easier, because I'm not just like walking up to people like, hello, I'm Ryan. I'm very, very like socially anxious and stuff. But I was able to like hang out with Danny because he was running a Call of Cthulhu game which, P.S., Danny is incredible at running horror games. It is wild. It is so unbelievably immersive, even through a virtual space. He just knows the proper pacing. Huge ups. It's unbelievable. Anyways, and we started talking, and we were just kind of like hanging out. We were talking about Session Zero. We were talking about the initiative order and sponsorships and stuff like that. And then I asked him. I think I asked him about his tattoos or something, because he had the ampersand on his hand, and we started talking about music and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, and I started in hardcore music, and that's what my inspiration for Session Zero is. And he was like, oh yeah, I used to, go around with a hardcore band over here, and they happened to be like a band that I grew up listening to. And it was like crazy to think like someone from the UK who I've never ever talked to in my life, and now I'm making new friends with, has also had that sort of same upbringing as me. And then joining the Discord community was unbelievable, because it was at the time and still the most welcoming and open Discord community there is, hands down. Like seriously, if you guys anybody here has not joined the Initiative Order Discord, please go check it out. Even if you don't end up playing games, the people there are awesome. Everybody there is a lot of fun to talk to, and I wish I had more time to hang out there, because it's really a great community of people.
Yeah, and we run community games for free. You don't have to be like subscribed to Patreon. You don't have to be giving us money to join in the community games that we run that are they're not streamed, but we have a variety of community games every single month that people can just come in and play and sign up, and then get to know more people in the community. And I mean, especially like there's we had a friend that I've met through ELH, who runs another Fallout game on their channel. They joined our Discord, and then signed up for a community game. They're like, I love this! Like, I love this community, and I'm so excited that I found somebody that likes masks and has the same DM style or game master style as me. So yeah, and those are all free every month. Just come in and sign up.
Yeah, how does it work? I know how it works, but I don't know if it's changed since then. But it's basically just like a website link, and you just go and you literally just sign up for it, right?
Yeah. So so Bree and a Flame, she is in charge of our community games. So every month she will post a list of the DM style of game and when it is, and she'll post a whole list of the games that we have that month. And then all you have to do, and this is in our Discord, all you have to do is reply to a game that you're interested in with that emoji that she's set for each game. So you apply, or you click the emote, and then it automatically puts you in the Discord private chat for that game for that month. And then you're in, and then they send you all the info on character creation. If it's a game that you've never played before, they send you the link for everything that you need for that game. Like I ran a Fallout game one time, so I gave everybody a PDF of the Fallout guide, and helped walk them through character creation. And yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of fun, and it's very low key, very not stress free, and just playing offline and just having a good time. So
now I saw the other day, Danny is he just made a new game.
He's been talking to us about this. I don't know the details about it, but he said it's pretty easy. I think it's like I can't remember if it's a D20 or D12, but it's like a one die type thing, I think. I don't know many details about it, but I'm like, bring it, because I don't scare easily. I mean, my friend Taryn, who's running Cult, her game is called Far Realms. She runs that for the Initiative Order. It just started. She's very into horror and stuff like that, and so I'm like, psh. With friends like this, like I don't scare easily.
Right. I saw him make a post about it the other day, and I was like, oh, that's really sick. I'd love to try that out. Mm-hmm. Does anybody here, Dane, Kyle, Eddie, do you guys have any questions? Anything you'd like to know?
Yes. Why is the sky blue?
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. It's been a good night.
Great. April, out of curiosity, how long have you been playing like TTRPGs and like board games?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I've been playing. I grew up playing video games, so since before I can remember, I had a game controller in my hand. I remember playing WrestleMania, Marble Madness, all the old Nintendo games. And then, throughout the years, I played Nintendo games, and I've always, played board games. But I really got back into board gaming about 10 years ago. So with that, I mean, just different kinds of games like Avalon, One Night Ultimate Werewolf, Codenames, Betrayal, games like that. So we would host games like once a week at our house, and we sometimes would do LANs. We did LANs like once a month, and so we were getting into gaming and stuff like that. And as far as and so video games, and then I finally had the chance. I always wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons. Everybody says this, right? I always wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, but I never got the opportunity. I feel like I'm like one of a million people that says that. But I did grow up in Texas. I'm from Texas. I still live in Texas, but I grew up in the Texas Panhandle. My boyfriend, when I was like in 8th grade, his whole family played D&D, and I was like, I really want to play, but of course, oh no, you're not supposed to play. So I never did. Until about 4 years ago. Yeah, about 4 years ago.
Probably right after like 5e came out, right?
Yes, I started pretty much right when, like, just a couple months right after 5e came out. And my group of friends that I'd been, like I said, the group of friends that I was telling y'all about before, we got together, like, for the past, like, 10 years, got together once a week playing these games. They decided that we were going to start playing D&D, which some of them had backgrounds in D&D. And when 5e came out, I was like, yeah, let's dive into this. So I was like, yes, please sign me up. So that's where I got my start. And then about like 6 months after that campaign started, I was like, I want to try to DM. Because when I was in school, I was a part of UIL storytelling. I've always been passionate about storytelling, and of course, voice actor. So I was like, yes, this will be perfect for a good practice and experimentation. So yeah, so I started doing that, and then been doing it ever since. So
now, you said that you always wanted to play D&D, but was there a point in your mentality where like me, where it was like their point of no return to nerddom?
Well, honestly, I've always been in that spectrum. I've always played video games, and I always even when I was in school, I was the one that had my headphones on, listening to Korn or whatever, and then reading my books. And then there's people, I was in sports, I was in band, but then I was also the one that was super antisocial, like, just leave me alone. I'm going to write my poetry, I'm going to read my books, and I'm going to listen to my music. And then when I got home, like, I played video games. I stayed up all night just playing video games and chat rooms. Even after school, when I was in college and I was working at Chili's as a server and a bartender, everybody's like, yeah, let's go out and we're going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and like get drunk. And then me, I'm like, I'm going to go home and play Call of Duty. And then like all night, like that was me. Like I've always been in that circle. So I'm like, I was always here, but now I'm in just a bigger circle. I get to be in the D&D and the TTRPG circle. So
hell yeah, that's
feels
awesome.
like home.
That's pretty sick.
Dane, where did you work?
I worked for Chili's for like 10 years, and then I ended up being a manager, hospitality manager, area training manager. I worked for Chili's for a long time.
And Dane, where did you work?
A bunch of places. I worked at Red Robin for...
Red Robin, that's where it was.
Like
I couldn't remember. I thought you worked
years.
at Chili's too, but it was Red Robin.
No, I never worked at Chili's.
Red Robin has good burgers, better burgers.
Dane, when you were at Red Robin,
Red Robin.
Did you have like the mascot suit?
Yes, I was Red Robin.
That's
multiple
incredible.
couple nights a week.
This is my favorite thing
man.
that exists.
I
That's
don't think
amazing.
we have like
mascot
anyone in a
work is-
mascot suit for that in Canada.
Yeah, mascot work is very interesting. We were very fortunate that we had a dry cleaner like less than a mile from us that we were able to convince to keep our suit regularly clean, because when you rock up with like this giant character costume with like this weird helmet thing to be like, hi, how much to clean this? And they just kind of give you a look and like, we don't really know how to rig this up. We're like, that's fine. Like, whatever you can do, because this thing is kind of gross. So.
What state? Like, what state were you in?
New York.
Oh, well, I mean,
Upstate
I
New
believe on
York.
extremes of weather, I guess. So
Yeah. It doesn't
like,
matter
at least you're
how-
not in like Florida or the South where it's like, oh, get me out of this, I can't
True.
breathe.
Yeah, after a time of wearing those, like any cast member at Disney that's like ever on rotation wearing that stuff, like power to them, especially like staying in character and just in Florida heat and humidity wearing those things. At least I would hope that they actually had the right like under stuff. By that I mean like the ice pack vests or like the headbands and stuff. I didn't have that, which that made it pretty fun, and I already sweat a whole lot. So
I see people make fursuits now that have like built-in AC systems, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
damn, like I guess that's
That's
a
pretty
necessary thing.
yep. They are very insulated.
Eddie, did you have something to say before?
Yeah. I was asked. You said you were a voice actor, or yeah. It's like, what did you work on as a voice actress?
Oh, so I do multiple variety of things. Radio, TV, commercials, just like I got to do a video game, which I still can't talk about which one, NDAs, but and I was this close. So right before the pandemic hit, I got hired on to do an anime. And I did the pilot. I did the voiceover for the pilot, and then the pandemic hit, and then the project got shut down because funding and whatnot. So, so I was like, no, I'm so excited about being in an anime, but yeah. So just, I mean, yeah, just whatever gets thrown my way, and I take it. So I've done some really boring stuff, like I've done some really boring stuff about vaccines, like PowerPoint presentations for vaccines where they have a huge conference and I'm the voice that they play over the thing. Yeah, just whatever gets thrown my way, I can get hired for.
I've
Makes
never
money.
even thought
But
about that.
necessary.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, if it'll pay, cool, I will
I've
do it.
never even thought of that. I thought about like the voice at like Walmart, like that
Oh.
was a person, but like the PowerPoint
They
one
pay.
it never even crossed my mind. I don't know why. I just assumed it was like a computer generated voice.
Sometimes Walmart pays. They do. They pay good. But yeah, like at phone people, the automated phone messages. There's work in that. There's work in. So, I mean, anything you can think. It's so weird. Some of the scripts that come over, and I'm like, what, really?
Now, do you
Yeah.
have to have a really good voice for it?
Well, and that's the thing. Some of it is the voice, and some of it is the equipment. Really, if you have the right equipment and you have the right, as long as it if the better equipment you have, the more the better sounding you are, and so. Yeah, I mean, and it depending on what kind of work, like, especially with the boring stuff, like the vaccine type stuff and just the boring conference stuff. You don't have to really act. You're just reading, giving a good, smooth read. I mean, as long as you can read these really, oh gosh, and that one, the one that I'm thinking of in particular, because there's been a few that I've like, I have to Google how to say some of these terms, or I have to email the client, okay, can you tell me how to say this scientific word? Because I think I'm saying it right, but I don't want to butcher it. And then you'd be like, hey, can you redo this for me? So that's really fun, getting those, the medical ones that nobody else will touch. And I'm like, I'm going to do it because I have a background and my degree is in physical education with an emphasis in personal training. So I'm like, I know some of these words, or at least I know what they are.
Yeah, you can pick it up with context clues.
Yeah.
So, Jen,
Brian, did you see?
Jen in the
Sarah.
chat, she
Yep.
would like to know how you got into voice acting, and by that, is there a specific way to find jobs in the field, like a website, like Indeed?
Yeah, so I did a bunch of research. I like did a lot of research. I took some online courses, and yeah, so there's a bunch of, they're called pay to play sites basically. So so one of the best ones is Voices, which is what I use, voices.com. You do have to have a membership, so you do pay a yearly membership, but they send you scripts. They have free you're paying a monthly membership or a yearly membership, but they do have webinars, coaching, and stuff like that you can, some of it's free, some of it's not, that you can pay coaches for more education and to fine tune and hone in on your craft. But yeah, it's really useful because then you get to see everything that you need to work on, and it sends you stuff that's specific for you. Instead of trying to do guesswork or go to these places where it's like, I mean, because there's plenty of sites. The pay to play ones, it gives you a sense of security, especially starting out, because you can go anywhere and be like, yeah, hire me for this. And then they do, and then you do the work and then you send it to them and they don't pay you. So that's the dangerous part of the game. Like there's plenty of places where you think you can do it and then you get screwed. You find out real quick. But this one gives you a sense of security because if they don't pay you, they go hunting them and make them pay you. I think they actually have to put in a deposit. I think that's how they actually work, is they put in the deposit, they put in the funds into Voice's hands, then you do the work, and then it's released to you after you've done it. So it's nice. It's like job security. So you don't get screwed for the work that you did.
Now, do you have like a setup at your house, or do you have to go somewhere to record it?
Yes. So with how I do it, I do have my my studio set up with a bunch of soundproofing panels and whatnot in my the back part of my closet, because I have a decent sized closet. So the back part of my closet, I did a bunch of sound panels around it, and I've got my mic and everything set up in there. And yeah, so it's fairly quiet in there. And then, but so with some of the jobs, they do. Most of the jobs that want you on site are in California and New York, obviously. There's some in the Dallas area that they request on site, and they're usually the higher paying jobs. But for the most part, it's you, especially now with COVID, unfortunately, but most of them are now work from home.
Right.
I've had to dial into Tokyo before for a this is for the video game one, a voice, a face-to-face directed session to where they could hear me and direct me on what they were wanting. Mm-hmm. So they were directing me live online while I was doing my recordings, which was kind of cool.
Now, I know you can't talk about it, but do you have like a timeline of when you think you'll be able to release it or say anything about it? No? Don't worry about it. So, change of pace, Dylan, who has decided to bail on us and then hang out anyway, he wants to know, what is everyone's favorite TTRPG or board game aside from D&D? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first and just say Betrayal and just get it out of the way, because
that's a good one. So I mean,
I've never even heard of it.
Betrayal at the House on the Hill.
I have no idea what that is.
Never heard of it.
Have you played the D&D version?
It's fantastic.
I've not played the D&D
Betrayal at
version.
Baldur's Gate is pretty good.
Just normal Betrayal.
So the D&D version of it is Wrath of Shardalon. No, that's a different one. But yeah, so the D&D version of it is, instead of you becoming the betrayer, you become basically the DM. It's weird. Like everybody's playing, and then all of a sudden, once the betrayal happens, you become the DM of the game, and then you're either like an evil DM or a good DM. It's really fun. I think you'd like it, especially if you love betrayal. So.
That sounds awesome. Is there a similar feeling or mechanic in the D&D version akin to not getting stuck in the basement? Because at that point, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah. It runs really well from as much as I've played it. Like, yeah.
Nice.
Like
Ryan, I think you were asking a little bit about it before. So Betrayal is pretty much like a tile-based game where you start on one floor of a house, and as you like open doors, you have like a deck of tiles for that floor. And after shuffling around, like each door you open, you flip a new tile, and then there's new mechanics that happen depending on what rooms you open. There's just a lot of there's pretty much a book and like certain mechanics and triggers that have to happen in order to find out what the end game or like win conditions for each game is. There's a ton of different options for how that game can go and end up. The one I always remember is where everyone gets shrunk down and there's just a cat roaming around that's trying to get you, and you pretty much have to find like a paper airplane and like fly yourself out of the house. It gets pretty wild.
Does this thing have a full name, or is it just Betrayal?
Betrayal at the House on the Hill.
Yeah.
Betrayal at the House on the Hill. Google.
The first time I ever played that game, I was the betrayer.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. It was exciting, but I was like, what do I do?
I think it's been the
Betrayal's also
Betrayer
put out
more
by
often
Wizards,
than
right?
not.
Sorry, Kyle.
I think so. Oh yeah, that's why they're able to do a D&D version.
That makes sense.
Betrayal at Baldur's Gate.
Wait, so is the D&D version called something else, or?
The D&D version is Betrayal at Baldur's Gate.
Betrayal at
Baldur's
Baldur's
Gate.
Gate. So
It's
sad.
really good.
Now
Yeah, I
Ryan's
always get
interested.
that one and the Wrath of a Chardalon mixed up, but I have that. I have that one too, and it's really good.
I'm not a fan of board games.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about how you're a loser in the chat.
I know. I don't know why. I like game night. It's
Worst,
always
man.
like, it's not my favorite. I don't know why. I love D&D. I've played Pathfinder with Dave. Dave's here from Band of Badgers. Played Pathfinder twice with them. Incredible. But it's because it's basically D&D with
Yeah,
higher
it's
numbers. And then I've played Call of Cthulhu, which is incredible.
I love Call of
Especially with a DM that can like keep you engaged with what's going on, or a game master or a storyteller or whatever. And I played 10 Candles, which is the exact same thing. Very intense, and it
That'd be
gets
awesome.
more and more intense as the game goes. I don't know if anyone's heard of 10 Candles or not.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I
think
I
I
don't know
have.
how to explain it. I played it once a month or two ago. You basically, it's supposed to be played in the dark around a table, and in the center of the table you have 10 tea lit candles or tea light candles or whatever they're called, and you set the scene, and then as things are going, something will happen, and then you blow out a candle, and by the
That
time
sounds great.
all the candles are blown out, you either die or happen to somehow survive. But as the candles get lower and lower, it gets super intense. I don't think I've ever had a moment playing a game where it was virtual, so I even then I was like locked in. Like this is, I was right there down to like 3 candles, and it's like, okay guys, what do we what do we got to do here?
It is nice when games have like atmospheres built in as part of it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's so simple, like you said. Like the one we played was like on a cruise liner, and the setup was like 2 sentences long. It was you're taking like you're on a vacation, you're on a cruise liner, a cruise ship that's out in the middle of the ocean, and all of a sudden the engines stop going and all the lights go out, and it's been a day since it's happened, and it's just you and the people around you that are playing that are the only survivors. And then all of a sudden, the next day, the engines turn on, but there is nobody else on the ship. Then it's like, what do you do? Where are you? How do you start? What do you want to do? And you're like, okay, well, I want to go down this hallway. But then things can happen where a player, like you say truths. So it's like, when you say the truth, it automatically exists in the game, no matter what it is. So you can be like, as I turn to look down the hallway. So my truth would be, as I turn to look down the hallway, I see a shadow go around the corner. And then anybody else can pick up that thread, or it just stays there for the DM to pick it up and be like, that shadow, you see it again, or something like that. But then it could be like, oh yeah, the shadow turned out, somebody else could be like, the shadow turns out to be a mannequin that was hanging in one of the closets, and it's actually nothing threatening at all. Or you can say something ridiculous like, you know, a peacock runs towards you and then turns around and looks for food somewhere else. but like
That
you
sounds kinda like-
will it into existence, and then the storyteller will weave it around to get to the last candle and be like, this is the only truth, and it's we're all either alive or we're all dead, and you get to describe your own fate as you go about the story. But it's amazing. It really is amazing.
That sounds really fun.
I was gonna say it sounds kind of like Outlast or no, what's that game you made, right?
What is Outlast? I've never heard of that.
Okay. It's called that, right? Am I crazy? Remembering the name
Yes,
wrong?
Outlast.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, if I get this name wrong. Yeah, it sounds kind of like Outlast.
Yeah, no, it's Outlast. I think is similar to what Danny was doing, was what he was writing, where it's just like a 1d6 system, where you basically just roll, and if you roll a 1 or 2, you don't do the thing you wanted to do. A 5 or 6, you succeed at the thing you want to do, and then a 3 or 4, you can succeed with a potential penalty. Like, oh, you can pick up that knife that's hidden in the underneath the seat of the bus, but in doing so, the seat creaks and you alert nearby zombies at your location. I don't, whatever. Okay. Let's anyone else have any other RPGs?
It's like I mean, obviously like Fallout, but if it's just a tabletop game, if you haven't played Dungeon Mayhem, I love it. And they have it on Tabletop Simulator. I've played it on TTS with friends before, but I also have every deck. It's basically like Dungeons and Dragons, but cards. So you get to pick your deck. Like you can be the monk. And then they have mobs. Like you can be a mimic. You can be Lord Cinderpuff. That's a dragon. A gelatinous cube, and it's just it's a lot of fun. It's one of my all-time favorite. I love switching decks, and anybody that I've played with and taught it or played with that's never played before, they really enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun. So
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I
Game
used
store
to.
the other day.
I've
It's
heard
not like
about it a
5 Minute
lot. I know.
Dungeon.
Talking over everybody now. Sorry, guys.
I'm gonna get a talking stick for you guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
jeez.
I used
Just
to.
pass it through the internet.
Yeah. I used to listen to Dragon Talk a lot, and they'd talk about Dungeon Mayhem, I think, like almost every episode in some way, shape, or form. So it's always
because
something
it's
interesting.
I'm trying to link these games in the chat. Whoop. It's not called Clandles.
And if you want something that's like super fast paced, it's also very Dungeons and Dragons. 5 Minute Dungeon is also
Obsessed.
really, and it's collaborative because you're on a timer, just slapping cards down. And so 5 Minute Dungeon is a lot of fun too.
So Eddie and I, I used to, Eddie still does, we work for like a before and after school program with children from kindergarten up to 5th grade, and then some middle schoolers depending on what school you're at. I saw this game a couple years ago at Walmart, and I was like, oh, this could be fun. Maybe I could like teach the kids how to play D&D. They loved it. They lost their minds. It was crazy. There was one day it was the middle of winter, and I had my sweatshirt on and my windbreaker, and we were playing a game, and it got so intense that I think I was physically sweating through my windbreaker because of like how intense the game got, because we were like, all right, round 1 you have 5 minutes, and then round 2 you have 5 minutes but more to do, and more mini bosses up until the last one, where it's like you have 5 minutes but you have all the cards to go through. Like let's rock and roll, let's party. And with these kids, they're just like screaming, slamming these cards down, like this one. I'm like, let's go, and I'm like standing up on the table, like we gotta go, we gotta win. Tables or parents are walking in, they're like, what are you guys doing? It's like, don't talk to us.
We're on a timer.
But and then
The Marvel version isn't as good to me.
100%.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
my one's okay.
So hard. Yes, totally. I completely agree.
Is that the one that we played with Steven, right?
Yes, it is.
Nice.
It's not as good, and I don't know why it's not as good, but it's just not.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about it where it's just not the same.
Dude,
But-
the wizard in that game, it freezes time. Oh,
Lifesaver.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like my favorite one. Every single time I use the ability to stop time, I just yell at the world as loud as I can because I'm a.
JoJo reference. That's
Yeah.
that's on
Oh yeah, there it is. There's one. Bingo cards.
Yeah, no, and then I showed it to, we have like a summer camp, and I showed it to Eddie, and I showed it to a couple of the other staff, and they bought it for their own schools, and everybody was like, these kids love this game, and it's so good.
If you want a good game that for young kids that is like that, it's kind of like that, but it's not time based, and they don't even have to read. That's another good part if they're not readers yet, but they still enjoy games. Red Panda. We're friends with the artist that did the artwork for it, but it's a really fun game that even my 4-year-old can play. You mean not reading? It's color based basically, and it's a lot of fun. So.
Don'tPanicGames.com. Does that sound familiar? Because I searched for Red Panda and I got a bunch of pictures of the most adorable red pandas that exist.
Yeah, that's what I did too. Like as soon as it's like, oh, a game that'll work for kids, I'm like literally my hands went straight to the keyboard.
Maybe it's not called Red Panda. I thought it was called.
Does the box have a picture of a kung fu red panda doing a jump kick on it? Because that's what came up for me.
Yeah, I have a picture of it somewhere.
I think I got it. Yeah,
I'm not saying the name
he's
wrong.
like doing like a.
It's got 4 different cards.
Yeah, and they're really colorful looking, purple and blue and green and red.
Yeah, Red Panda. Yeah, it's like. I know you can't see it. Dang it, every time. But yeah, it's called Red Panda. It's by Romero. I can't say their name, but Derek Loffman is the artist for it.
I'm linking as many of these as I can in chat without forgetting about them.
It's super cute, and it comes in this really adorable little padded case, and it's very easy, and it's a quick play. But yeah, it's perfect for kids that like aren't even at the reading level yet or reading stage yet. Then they can get in and play games like that. So
there you go, Eddie. Eddie put it on the GCC budget.
Yeah, it's going on the docket, 100%.
You have to order it from the UK though, so that way you can charge the company more money.
Oh yeah, of course. That'll work out real well.
I mean, as long as you just don't care.
I'm just reading the box on this. Just pandas are red, bruises are blue. We've been warning you. It's like, dang.
That's
it's
intense.
so much
Stuff in
fun.
blood.
All right. So if anyone else in the chat or if anyone else here has questions, please feel free to ask anything. Role-playing games, the initiative order, the Vault, the Fallout game. Do you want to talk about that? Let's talk about Fallout. Let's talk about the Vault game because I don't know anything at all about Fallout. Never played it in my life. Sorry. I played a lot of video games and Fallout was not one of them.
Oh, it's okay. I played it a couple times.
A couple of times.
A couple.
Just a couple times.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things is post-apocalyptic type stuff. Like my favorite movie is Book of Eli. I love, Mad Max and all that. Like I love post-apocalyptic type stuff. And so of course, like I was drawn to Fallout. Love Fallout. I started playing, I think the first one I played was 3. I've watched gameplay of 1 and 2, but I've played 3, 4. I've played all of the other ones since then. So I was like, man, it'd be really cool if there was, because everybody streams D&D. Not everybody. That's extreme. But there's so many people that stream D&D, and I just wanted to do something that was a little bit different. And I was like, man, I wonder if I could run a TTRPG, but Fallout, like based in the Fallout world. And then I was doing some research on it. And I found this guy who did a D&D 5e adaptation for Fallout, and it was really awesome. And we got our group together and we started using that. We used that for our first 17 episodes, and then Modifius came out with their 2D20 system. And we were really excited about it, looking at it, and got permission by Modifius to use it, stream it, and do giveaways with their digital copy. And they advertised for us on their stuff because we were basically I think we were the first group to ever stream the new 2D20 system. I know we were the first ones to start doing a campaign with it, but I think our one shot was the first one streamed. And yeah, so we ended up moving over to the initiative order, and it was kind of a perfect transition because we dropped doing the D&D version, picked up the 2D20 system right when we started with the initiative order, and we've loved it.
And you do that on Mondays, right?
Yeah, Mondays at 6:30 p.m.
That's
Pacific. Awesome. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. They just leveled up, so they're level 8 now, going into tomorrow. I build sets, paint the minis for the game. So we have live sets. Yeah, I love painting and crafting. Oh yeah, and I paint and craft.
I think, Dave, if you're still here from Band of Badgers, April paints and crafts. So if you want to get her on your Great British brush off, there you go. What are like the differences with the D&D version that you had played with the 2D20 system? Like you said, they're level 8. Is there the leveling system kind of the same?
Yes and no. You can either do milestone or you can do XP. There's freedom with that. This system just came out. The 2D20 system is not a new system, but the Fallout one just came out. So they are still adding stuff. So the bestiary on it, like very minimal right now, minimal. The classes, they're not called classes, they're called origins. The origins are very minimal right now. Like we have in our game, we have a synth. They don't have a playable synth race right now in their system. So I had to homebrew one. It's a lot more simplistic than playing D&D because all you need are D6s and D20s. So when we switched over, some of the players, like he was a gunslinger starting out. He had his path planned out of how his character was going to progress up to level 20. And when we switched over, it was like, oh, now I'm looking at perks instead of feats and ability score differences and stuff like that. So they're very different on character advancement, but I guess, I don't know, that it's really kind of hard to explain because the stats are different. You have the stats are different. They're different, but the same. Because you basically have like your charisma and strength and stuff like that. You have those, and you have your skills, but they work differently. You can say, I'm going to use charisma with athletics, which in D&D, you can't. But with this 2D20 system, if you can say why that works and how you're going to do that and why a charisma with athletics combo is going to work in the situation, I can approve it and you can do it. It has so much more freedom with this type of system to let you play narratively in the world than Dungeons and Dragons does. Dungeons and Dragons has, these set rules that are really hard they don't have as much wiggle room as this does. So
right. Kind of like a weird little transition, but how do you go about like preparing for your campaign? Like how much planning do you over plan? Do you wing it?
A little bit of both. So for this particular campaign, I had a story in mind. Like I knew what the big picture I wanted, but the rest of it, there are still a few beats here and there that they need to get to the big picture. But for the most part, and this is how I am with all my games, is they create their characters and they give me their backstories, and I ask them questions about their backstories and make sure I build on their backstories, because I build my story. It's not my story. I build the campaign based off of my characters' backstories instead of vice versa. I don't build a story and then put them in it. I let their stories, their character stories, build the story. And sometimes it changes my story, and that's okay because it's a collaborative storytelling game. That's what these things are. So this isn't about me. This is about us, like as a group. And I love. I'm very into like telenovela, like drama. I interweave. Like I'm like, oh, here's the thread that meets your thread. Like I tie all of them together, and they don't see it coming. And then when they're like, oh, we have this in common. Oh no, like you're my brother. What? Like stuff like that. It's just like weird. I love that. I eat that stuff up. Like the drama and the surprise.
I used to over prepare and over plan, like way too much, and I felt like it limited me a little bit. And then also like I'm pretty good at being able to plan as a player, because I like to think as what I would do in the situation, and for the most part I'm usually right, so I never really feel like I'm railroading them, just because I would kind of guess what they would do. And sometimes they'll throw it off, and sometimes they'll do what I expected them to do. But right when the pandemic ended, and we started up about like maybe 2 months ago, right at the end of the pandemic, once everyone was vaccinated and everything, we're good to go. I stopped planning as much. I've been trying to just play and like enjoy the story, and I still have like my overarch, exactly what you were just talking about. Like I still have my big picture that I had last year before the pandemic, and now I'm just kind of like, what do you guys want to do? And I will tell my story in the background while we tell your story at the same time. And it's led to a lot of really interesting things, especially this past week. This coming Thursday, I'm gonna end up killing Eddie's character, to nobody's fault but himself.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Do you want to explain how that happened, Ryan? Do you want?
I mean, I can. We can also, keep the discussion open. But if you'd like, I can tell the story.
Here, I'll just get some popcorn real quick.
Sure.
Oh, good, great. Yeah, you'll need it.
What did Eddie do?
So
I didn't do anything.
So they've been trying to uncover some pieces of the big story, and they got back to this town. The whole city, but their whole continent is called Oscar Nominee, and every city is an Oscar nominee actor or actress. So they're in the town of Gyllenhaal. It's seriously, my brain does a lot of unnecessary
This
things.
sounds like we're on the same wavelength. My NPCs in each of my towns have show themes.
There you
So
go.
this one town will have character names from Firefly. This town will have character names from Scrubs.
Hell yeah.
So I like that a lot.
And then like the roads between them, I don't have names for the roads, but the connecting is like just south of Gyllenhaal is Maguire, because Jake Gyllenhaal and Tobey Maguire were in a movie called Brothers together. And then connecting from that is a different actor and actress, and the whole thing connects if you were to be like, oh, it's, plot points between movies and the movies they shared together. Anyways, they're in Gyllenhaal, and they've just had a whole council meeting with all the leaders of Gyllenhaal, whatever, and at the end of the meeting, they're like, do you have like anything to do? Like, is there anything to kill? Like, we have some time to kill. Like, let's just go do something. And I was like, there's a sewer problem, I guess. So then I was like, give me 5 minutes to come up with a sewer encounter, I guess. And it was a lone mind flayer down there with some cranium rats, and it was just whatever. And then this past Thursday, they were like, I was like, okay, so it's gonna be some time, and I was giving them the option to like do a little bit of a time jump to get out of the sewer, and just, you can go collect your reward or whatever, and then we'll do some time jumping. And they're like, no, we want to loot the body and stuff. I was like, okay, so we'll start right in the sewer. In the sewer, I was like, what can I do to like make this a little more interesting? So then I had them start like feeling the presence of, thank you for the follow, HOSS00312. Definitely not a robot. They feel the presence of being watched, and then they hear like whispers sort of like echoing around the room, and then they keep investigating, and then they come up with this idea that there's more mind flayers. So then they go back up top and they talk to Lord Jacob of Gyllenhaal.
Oh my god.
They talk to him, and they're like, hey, so there's a mind flayer situation, and he's like, well, Easter is a couple days away. I hope like nothing happens between now and then. Like, it would be a shame or whatever. Like, poke them a little bit. They're like, all right, we'll go back down. We'll take care of it. They go down there and they find like a hole in the wall, and they see like a bunch of petrified mind flayers, and they use mending to fix the hole in the wall. And then they keep investigating, and then they find like a sewer grate in like this large pool of poop water, and they're like, we want to go down there. I was like, okay, but you just mended the wall to the tunnel that would have taken you down there, but that's fine. You guys can go swimming in the poop water. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
So their plan is, we're going to rip this thing up with a combined athletics check, rip the grate up. We're going to send the 2 halflings down because the one has dimension door and can't use it with anybody larger than small. And then if there's any, take a look around and then dimension door back up, and we'll mend the gate up. That's the plan. They jump in the water, fall down a 50-foot drop into a lake down there.
Is it a poop lake?
It's a poop
Or is
lake.
it just
Well, no,
normal?
it's like a regular lake, but it's a little contaminated. As soon as they hit the water, the cleric mends the grate. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
These are garbage.
That's fine. Whatever. No big deal. Meanwhile, I know what's down there, and this is great for me. They swim over to the
Is
shore.
sewer great for
Great.
you?
Get it?
Eddie's character has no dark vision. The other one does. He's a warlock with magical dark vision. They get up to the shore, and they climb up, and they're looking around, and then they hear a voice directly above them that's like, I told you to get out, as they look up and see a beholder descending on them.
So we're stuck in darkness
Yeah.
with a beholder, no way out. It's just the 2 of us. We're gonna die. It's all Ryan's fault. No, it's Terry's fault and Anthony's fault. Either way, is the victim of complete circumstance.
Meanwhile, the other 3 are up top planning like a bachelor party for the cleric.
Oh no!
Getting ridiculous.
How far up?
50 feet.
50
So
feet.
probably like 50
Oh,
to
so
50
they
to
could
60.
take 50 feet of fall damage if the floor collapses out from under them.
Well, we'll see.
Then you can damage them and punish them that way.
We'll see what happens.
And like, it's like my very first D&D character too, and like,
Oh.
yeah, it's gonna be the worst when that character dies. I'm gonna actually cry, and it's gonna be like, I can already see it. No one else is gonna care besides me and maybe Anthony, and I'm just gonna.
I'm
be the worst.
very, very excited. I really can't wait for Thursday. I've wanted to use a beholder since I started DMing, but I've been terrified to use a beholder.
And now he uses.
And now I use one, but
Yeah. Now. Thanks.
I don't know why I don't know why it was mended. I don't get it.
I'm already thinking of the next character concept. Like, it's already planned it out, because there's no way I'm gonna live like past like 2 rounds against that thing.
We'll see, I guess.
0
We'll see
chance.
what happens.
The first time I ever came up against a beholder,
The first time.
I convinced it that I had been sent where we were, and that I was its new master, that its former masters had died, which they had.
Taking notes.
And this was an old wizard college that we were in, long set, like old, very ancient. And it was there to protect some of their lore and stuff in the lower libraries. And I was like, I'm actually your new master. And then the DM's like, whatever, roll. Are you trying to are you trying to intimidate it? Or are you trying to persuade it? And I was like, no, I'm telling him the truth, persuading them. Rolled a nat 20.
Hell
And I
yeah.
can't remember what my modifier was, but I was like, I mean, he was just like, fucking beholder encounter, and then you just, so it let me pass, like it let us pass. It was so,
Yeah,
it was like,
Eddie, don't bother taking notes. No gods,
I
no
know.
masters.
I don't worry, I didn't. I knew that was probably gonna end up like the story gonna end with, and I nat 20.
Yeah.
I literally just took a paintbrush in my wallet. Just kind
I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is my one attempt to try to like not die. And then I was like, what? Yeah, y'all just walk.
That's awesome though. Love nat 20 situations like that. They're always
Yeah, Eddie,
the
just
absolute best.
take down the note, get a net.
Yeah, easy. Nat 20.
You have like
All
3 or
takes.
4 days to order a loaded die.
Oh,
I would never know.
That's fair
My
enough.
roommate has a die that is 1-1 and 1920s on it. You could use that one.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Speaking of
That's
dice, Bucci, our number 1 fan, has asked since it started such a great show and tell last week, what kind of dice do you use, and do you have a favorite set?
Me?
Anybody? Round table, let's go. You have your.
Hang on,
you
I'll be
have
back
your
in 1
dice?
second with my giant bag of dice.
Okay, there
Did
you
I,
go.
Oh no.
did I show all my dice? I feel like I did. Did I?
I don't know. You
My dice is
did
on.
you?
I don't
You
remember.
didn't have your new ones yet. I don't think last week.
I got new dice. That's true. You know what? I'll go get it just in case.
This is the
Just in
D4.
case.
So my friend is a dice maker, and her she's got a sale going on right now. She's an artisan dice maker, like she hand pours everything. But yeah, this is a D4. It's one of the gem D4s, and it's absolutely beautiful. But it's purple with gold flecks in it. So yeah, that's just the D4. But
What's her link? I'll add it to the chat here.
Umbral. So you can find her like it's Umbral Oculus Dice. I think she's on Ko-Fi, but it's on Instagram too, and you can get the link from there. But Umbral, UMBRAL. I think it's underscore
follow
Oculus.
this.
Yeah. So Taryn, so she's one of the players on Vault, but she makes dice and she's got a sale going on right now. But these are absolutely, I mean, they're like glass. They are crystal clear, absolutely beautiful. She makes custom dice. Oh yeah, and then I just got my Fallout because Fallout, the Fallout game has custom, or they have D20s and D6s that go with the game, and these things are huge compared to normal dice, like
Oh wow. yeah,
normal
that's
dice compared to,
Oh, yeah.
and they've got the like the little vault symbol on it. Oh, and this one's so pretty too. I love this one. I won this one from Gary Con.
I got a similar set. Mine's red though.
Yes, yeah. So mine's got purple and blue, and yours is a red color. Yeah.
It's like amberish.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So I love these too because they're so pretty. Yeah, and the D6 is my favorite. I think out of the set, the D6, because it's like the lines. I think it shows more of the sparkle on that.
It looks like It looks like a gift wrap present.
It does. I love it.
So,
Those
this
are
is
my.
one of my bags of dice.
One of.
I do have more, and it is filled with individually packed sets. I have like 50 individually packed sets of dice in this bag.
So
Oh.
that to me is like a lawful chaotic bad.
Lawful chaotic.
Yeah, I couldn't think
Yeah,
of.
that's
I don't follow alignments. It's chaotic. You are chaotic evil.
Oh, and I just got my Critical Role dice in
Oh hell yeah!
That's
the
cool.
Kickstarter. I
Yeah,
don't have them on
my stuff's still on the way, but I'm really excited about that.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys have seen the. I was showing Anthony last
Go ahead,
night
those.
the Beetle and Grimm stuff, but
Oh yeah.
Beetle and Grimm, they have Pathfinder, or not Pathfinder, they have is it Pathfinder? They have dice sets, and they come in like the rogue would have a bunch of d6s for sneak attack, and it's like a full set. I believe it's Beetle and Grimm. I have to double check though.
I was thinking about it. I'm like 90% positive. I definitely showed like all the dice I had, and, like all the little dice bags I have or whatever last week. There's no way I didn't. But anyway, I got these new dice, and they're ducky dice. They have little ducks. I can't. Is that?
Oh, I've seen those. Those are cute.
Yeah. Little ducks.
Oh, I
Got
love
it in
that.
Yeah.
It's not.
This is a nice little set.
You can just
Hard
get,
to see.
it's lighting.
Is that the
in terms
Wormwood
of
set,
shows.
Kyle? Or?
This is Coliseum Emerald from Adventure Dice.
I have two different like these things, like these craft containers full of dice. But my other one is at our D&D space, and that one has all my favorites in it. This one's extras. I think this is a stone set that has, I believe.
Oh, I love the stone one.
I think this is the Zelda stuff, but I don't know anything at all about Zelda either.
Oh, well, it's a timeout for like 2
Oh,
seconds.
it's so pretty.
Those are
Did
cute.
you say Zelda stuff, and then proceed to say like I know nothing about Zelda?
Black,
Yeah.
that's so pretty.
Yeah, I did,
Thank you.
but I'm
Oh,
not
and
sure.
I got my
'Cause-
Jason Charles Miller chonk, the metal.
Oh, hell yeah.
I love my Jason Charles Miller one, and it glows in the dark. So I've got a blacklight flashlight, and it just like, it's so heavy. I just play with it during stream, like it's a stress reliever because it's so heavy and so nice.
So maybe it's not Zelda because.
This is a Triforce.
It
Yeah,
looks
because-
basically Zelda-ish.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the D4. This is why I think it's Zelda, because this has like,
Oh, it looks like the Triforce. Yeah.
right?
Oh, it
It
does
does a
look like a
little
little bit, yeah.
And then, but then the D6
I'm gonna
is
buy some now because your piece of
Gears.
garbage don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Probably
Oh.
not purposefully Zelda.
That looks like a cog. Yeah.
Yeah, it might just be by accident.
Might just be people like triangles.
Yeah, it doesn't like a triangle.
Triangle's good shape.
Don't be a
I
square,
prefer
be a
hexagons
triangle.
personally.
I don't remember what that website. Doesn't really matter, I guess.
Oh yeah, speaking of dice and stuff, like I can show you the stuff like from our new sponsor for Vault. Like
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah. Good transition.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm blanking off. So Frank Lloyd Dice. So they've got a Kickstarter that's live right now. Really beautiful, like custom like this is the dice tower that's really beautiful, like, and it smells beautiful. And then they have this really cool dice vault, like beautiful artwork. It's absolutely beautiful. This wood dice vault, all these different colors of stains. These so you can get, I don't know if you can see, it says Harrington on it, but there's different initiative, like for your DM screen, initiative markers of different symbols and stuff, and different character, you can't see that, character names on it and stuff, and different stains. And then the dice tray has like this, I think it's faux leather, but this beautiful faux leather. And look at that, like, look
Oh,
at
the dice
the
tray is
engraving.
Very cool.
So pretty. So yeah, so Frank Lloyd Dice, their Kickstarter is still live right now. They were fully funded in 3 days. But
Solid.
It's
so
5 days.
beautiful.
5 days left. So go support it. They got.
Yeah. Yeah, he was cool and sent me like all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I love it. All the pretties.
Yeah, these look. All the numbers on the initiative trackers too.
Yeah, the initiative trackers are so pretty. I'm like, man, if I played in like at home, like because even my home game, we still play online. We used to meet before COVID. We used to meet, but then we started using Tabletop Simulator, and so my home game we used Tabletop Simulator, and now it's just more convenient for everybody, just because we play so late, and we've got people that live a little bit further away, and now we have a friend that joined in that lives on the other side of the country, basically. So it's just more convenient to still play digitally. So
To go back, because you just reminded me when you said the digital thing. Eddie, did you ever talk about your favorite RPG?
No.
'Cause I know you got a few.
Hold on. So I guess Pathfinder would be like my first jump, but that's kind of just the exact same as D&D for the most part, so I'm not gonna count it. I played Call of Cthulhu. That was really fun. I had my gripes with it. That was just because my friend was DMing it and he was being a clown. And then I mean, I really like playing like tabletop war games kind of thing. Like I'm wearing a Warhammer,
Warhammer?
shirt. Like Warhammer, Sigmar. I want to try out the Lord of the Rings one. That one was sick.
Do you want to play it or do you want to run it?
No, I'm not talking about the Lord of the Rings D&D thing. That too. No, there's a Lord of the Rings like war game thing, like
Oh, okay.
Warhammer. Yeah, and the minis are really cool. And I want to like eventually try that out because it looks kind of cheaper than Warhammer, and it's just like, oh hey, this is neat. It's just that no one else I know actually wants to play that at all. I'm like the
Is
only
that
one.
the Games Workshop, Lord of the Rings?
Yep, you got
That
it.
was discontinued.
And there
Fallout.
that
Fallout has a war game.
is. Is it really?
They actually came out with it a lot, like way before they came out with the RPG, and I use the minis that they have are for the war game, but I use them for the RPG.
Yeah, that's like half the reason I like super love the war games stuff. Like, any like mini in Sigmar or whatever, or I guess Warhammer Fantasy. Every time I make one, it's like, oh hey, this can also be used for D&D. Like, I'm like waiting, like for the prime opportunity, like the best thing I've ever painted. I'll say it every single time until I'm dead. Is this Archaon the Everchosen mini? He's so sick. I can't
Cannot see it.
Yeah, I can't see it, but that is that's
This
sick.
is the war game.
That is cool. I'm gonna look that up. But
Yeah.
and I'm like waiting for the opportunity like to DM a game and just like plop that giant like beast of a mini like onto the board. Like I just need an excuse. But yeah, I'd probably say like war games like that would probably be under D&D if they count in that category.
I mean, I think we
So
were also
do you-
just talking about favorite board games before, so.
Yeah. Do you prefer war games over, because they're similar but different, right? Because they're more combat based than narrative based, right? Or no? Because I've never yeah.
It's like mostly
Like I have this,
stuff.
but I had it for minis.
Like there's like campaigns you can do. I've never done the campaign kind of stuff like at all, but I like read about it and it looks interesting. I just never had the time to do it. Like a single game of Warhammer is like all day. It's insane. Like especially like there's so many rules. Like there's more rules in Warhammer like you have to kind of get down. And it feels like it's more than D&D sometimes. Like D&D is like King Supreme every single time. But yeah, Warhammer's fun too. And like if there's a way, like if we ever played a game where it's just like a whole war battlefield in D&D, and there's like a couple times I was like this close to getting like the dream of doing that. That'd be so sick. Like you can like control like because there's so many tactics like over the years in my head. It's like like just waiting to come out, and it just never does. It probably never will.
I told you about the game that we played with Damien where we did that, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we were like controlling
Instant jealousy,
the other what is it, the 5 factions of the Lord's Alliance or whatever it is.
Yeah, wasn't that like a 6-hour game or something like that?
It was
It was a really long
Combat?
it was very long,
Yeah.
and I think that was the one that Dane got mad at me and yelled at me because we were taking
I
we
think
played
so.
until like 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. and he was like, I just want to go home.
I was so tired.
But we
And
used
Ryan had
like
a lot of
the
questions.
hex
It's
grids.
like, it's bedtime, bud. We gotta go.
Yeah. What about Humblewood?
I mean, that's a D&D module, except
No,
like
I guess
not.
that's true.
Yeah, it's just D&D again, but I mean, I love Tumblewood. Like DMing, that's the only one like thing I've ever really like DM'd like full fledged. Like if I usually DM'd like a one shot or something, just like kind of dicking around. Humblewood was like devoted to doing it, and that was actually really fun. I honest to God like wish we streamed that. That was like
The Humblewood one?
yeah, because it was really cool. And the way I, like
Do
the
you
one
wanna-
thing as a DM that I did that is like even remotely good was the use of music in that. Supreme. That was so fun.
Do you want to maybe for one of our seasons of mid-level, do you want to run a Humblewood game?
We could. It'd be so hard to avoid using the beast. It'd be like my entire like spot. My brain would just be like beast, like do the thing, and I had to resist.
So, are you guys familiar with Humblewood? Are you
Beast
familiar
has
with
nothing
Humblewood?
to do with Humblewood. Literally nothing.
never
So
heard
it's
of Humblewood.
it's Dungeons and Dragons, but you use little woodland creatures. So there's like little
Okay.
mice. There's little
I love
tiny
it already.
owlets. It's
Yeah,
it's
there's a
amazing.
Kickstarter for it. It's so good.
absolutely beautiful.
I love
um,
Humblewood.
But Eddie ran a game for us last year virtually, and he tied in the story of
Over the garden wall.
Over the Garden Wall
Yeah, and
with,
it was
with the Beast.
Yeah, the Beast, and he was so fucking fun to play. I was like, oh, like every single time, like when he first was introduced, and like for most of the time he was there, his theme, I would put on his theme song, which is "Come Wayward Souls." Every single time he showed up, and like it's so satisfying. Like I love that song, and like one thing, like there'd be like these rituals and stuff that would happen in the game. Like there was one part where it's like, oh, you gotta say like this like prayer or something to stop the big bad evil guy in the very end, and pretty much what really happened was this incantation from I think the Tangled TV show, and pretty much when they said that incantation, I played one of the music. I can't remember what it was called, the song itself, but like I played the song afterward. It was like a cover. It was like the voice of the cover like was really close to the cover of of Wayward Souls I used, and so it fit so well, and I was like super excited about it. I swear to God, I wish we streamed that. It was so good.
It was fun. I did like it.
Yeah.
All right. So, unless anyone can think of anything else, do you want to take a quick 5? Want to take a quick break? Does anyone need to break? Dane, how's the weather?
Oh, let's take a little check and see what Henry's doing for us.
Yeah, Dane
Dark,
moved
still
a couple months
blowing.
ago, so he's right in the red zone of hurricane, now tropical storm Henri.
Just by like 5 miles an hour, like just barely.
Yeah, so that's what his garb is tonight. He's tropical.
Living it.
Tropical storm Dane.
Dude, can't wait for you to come out and swim. Like,
Have a good
Yeah,
night,
We'll be
Dave.
swimming to work.
Thanks for coming to hang out.
Hi, Dave.
But yeah, if you guys want to, we're gonna take a quick break. Think of some more fun things to talk about. We'll come back, hang out for a bit, and call it. What do you guys think?
Sure, we can
Good.
do a break.
That was good.
All right.
Have some water.
So everyone watching, get up, stretch your legs out, get something to drink, grab a snack, and then don't go too far away because we have a lot of fun things to do, and we like hanging out with you. So we'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, well, bye. All right. We are back. We're here. We're live with April Hill from the Initiative Order and also the Vault RPG. We're just hanging out. I was thinking about something on the break though. Let's do another quick jump off. Do you want to tell us more about Wounded Warrior Project and charity streams in general, like what that looks like?
Sure. Yeah. So the Wounded Warrior Project, they especially now, you can go check out their website with everything that's going on in Afghanistan. They've been making a lot of phone calls to vets, and really just are being this. They provide aid to vets, and one of the things that I'm doing with them is I'm running Dungeons and Dragons games for them. I just ran a Fallout miniseries for them, where they go through. It's called Project Odyssey, and they go through a week's worth of like therapy type based stuff. With a counselor, and then on Fridays or at the end of the week, they get to play Dungeons and Dragons with me. They base their characters, the characters that they create are based off of themselves. So they're using Dungeons and Dragons, they're using tabletop role-playing games as a way to as a therapy, like a therapeutic type tool, and it's really gaining a lot of traction. It's not just Wounded Warrior Project that's using it. I was at Starbucks the other day, and the barista, I was in the drive-in, the barista, because I have a D&D purse, my purse it has D&D dice on it, and so does my wallet, and then my hair's purple, and so she's like, "Hey, I like your bag, like, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, actually, I'm like a professional dungeon master." And she's like, "What? I've always wanted to play." And then my therapist actually recommends that I play it, and I'm like, yeah. So like it's something that's gaining traction because it's a way to explore yourself. It's a way to explore things that you've been through, traumatic events. It's a way to just and meet people and have fun and play games and get out of your comfort zone, or in your comfort zone, really. So I love that about this game. Because I've found out things about myself that I didn't know until I played this game, and I'm like, oh, I'm that kind of person. Right. So yeah, and it's just fun to explore, and I'm so honored to be able to get to do that and help people explore that stuff in themselves and help them make breakthroughs in these therapeutic sessions during game, and outside of game. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, and it's even like it's helpful for me, for example, because I had like anxiety and depression since I was 15, and really bad social anxiety, and then being able to sit down at a table and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna talk like this for the whole night," and just laugh with my friends is like a way to kind of just pretend and use your imagination in a way that separates you from whatever you're doing, and it makes it easier to kind of just flow with things, and I've kind of used that mentality to meet new people like I met you, and I don't know if I had seen you at a convention, for example, I don't know that I would come up and say hi, because that's just who I am. I would probably stay and have my headphones in and kind of walk around and just do my own thing. But look at us now, here we are.
Yeah, I know, it's so weird. We bump into each other on streams all the time, like in the stream chats, and I'm like, "Hey, Ryan," like and it's funny, like there will be 5 different streams going on at the same time, and then we're in all 5 of them, and it's like, what are you doing over here? We're supporting all the same people. Yeah, that's funny. It's funny. I do that with like so many people. Like, it'll be like, "Hey, I see you lurking on this one and this one and this one." Like, me too. Like, we're good peeps. We take care of our friends and like support them and give them views and like want to know what they're doing in their projects, which is
always sharing links and signal boost to the max. Always. Does anybody have any questions for anybody in particular, for April? Want to talk about life? Want to talk about the pursuit of happiness? What do you want to do? What do you guys want to discuss?
I had things and now I'm blank.
All right, so we'll go to Chill's question in the chat.
Oh no.
Are you pro metagaming or anti metagaming?
He did this on purpose. I know why he did this too. Yeah, that's funny. I think there should be a combination of both. Like there has to be. You have to have communication outside the game.
Right.
It's really hard to not, right? Like, I mean, even in streaming, people talking out of character because things happen. Like, I don't know. Like, it's really hard to not ever metagame.
Yeah, I like the idea of, you know, being able to talk out of character and come up with like a plan just to make sure everyone's on the same page. But I don't like meta knowledge. So, for example, the Beholder encounter that is going to kill Eddie's character on Thursday.
Yep.
Him and his brother don't know. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, I don't know that they know very much about Beholders in general. So I'm like,
Not
please
really.
don't look into them at all. It will
like
spoil everything.
bare minimum.
Just whatever. Like, you know, it's got the 10 eyes, the 10 eye
And
stalks, and the main
beams.
eye, and yeah, and different
It's
beams.
got death beam and disintegration beam.
Yeah,
I
like.
think.
But as long as you don't be like, in character, watch out for its disintegration ray, like, I don't care. Like, as long as you can separate what you know as a player and what your character would know, then I don't.
Min-maxing.
Yeah, that's yeah.
It's cool for PvP. Like, you want to min-max for PvP, but when you're like in a campaign or in a game, I mean, unless it's a one-shot, it's cool. Well, no, one-shots are the ones when you could just go ham and you're like, I'm going to be a barbarian gnome. Like something outlandish, or a rogue Goliath, like something just off the wall.
That does not make any sense at all, and you can just have fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's not fun.
Here's a question. Do you have a preference as to online D&D play versus sitting at the actual table? Pros and cons. I'll go.
You want-
I'm just
a good
asking
one.
in general. Like, whoever wants to answer can speak up.
I guess my brain went to like immediately went, tabletop every single time, and then I thought about it for like 2 seconds. I was like, oh well, then again, like when I was running Humblewood, like the ability to control the music so easily, and like the ability to, like when you're using the maps and stuff on Roll20 and like the tokens and all that stuff like that, I really like doing that and like being able to control certain things you can't normally control. And like the lighting thing that you used when we played Tomb Annihilation or Tomb of Horror.
Tomb of Horrors.
Tomb of Horror. We almost did that one try too, except it's Jen's fault. And we like the things that you can do online. They're really cool stuff that you can do that you can't do on the tabletop. But things like internet issues and like stuff like that can kind of get in the way, and like the not being in front of people at a table is different. And like there's sometimes it's like, man, I really wish I was on the table with these people, and then there's other times where it's like where the fact that we're all like in a call or whatever, sometimes I think to myself, it's like, oh, this actually had some pros to it. I'm trying to think of like a particular time when that I had that thought, like a good example, but I'm blanking. So I
For
guess
the
it's not.
mid-level game in particular, or just
Yeah, the
in
mid-level
general?
game in particular, or I guess in general, but my brain went to mid-level.
I mean, definitely a big benefit for like with mid-level is 3 of us live in Canada and 3 of us live in New York.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So
With a 3-hour
I would-
difference.
I would never play with you guys if not for online play. And, like
Right.
with my experience, I didn't play online ever until the pandemic hit, and then like I just had someone who I became super close friends with because he was just on Facebook like, hey, who wants to play some online games during the pandemic to kill some time? And I was like, sure. He's now my roommate. But I wasn't super into online games, and then we just started playing more and more, and it's just kind of like, this is just like way better for scheduling. And it's like, if I just want to sit down and I see some people online, it's like, oh, I couldn't get them to come to my house right now, but I could just get them into a Discord call and we can play some fucking D&D, like on drop of a hat. Like,
no, that's definitely good. I didn't really think about it in that way. I was kind of just, I was thinking of it more in terms of like the actual play part, because from my point of view, I hate it. I don't like playing online. I like being at the table. I think playing online, especially with like the maps and the tokens and stuff, slows the game down a lot. And once you hit combat, even without the map, once you hit combat, it's just very easy to be like, all right, yeah, my turn's over.
That's a good point. I was thinking about it, like, as soon as you said it slows things down, like, my head was just like, oh, really? And then I was like, oh, yeah, it definitely does.
But I mean, like, the pro of it is like 100% what Kyle just said. Like, I would never have been able to play with them, and look at us now. We have a channel. We have guests on our channel. Like, we're doing things, and we're making something out of it, and we get to play Dungeons and Dragons and paint miniatures and hang out and.
Having miniatures is like king supreme. Like, that's the best part of doing like at a table and stuff. And there's an easy way to implement using miniatures other than like, I mean, there's tokens and stuff in Roll20, obviously, but like actual like using miniatures that you painted and stuff. If there was a way to do that online in a very seamless way, that'd be really cool. I mean, I guess theoretically you can use tabletop sim, sort of.
Yeah.
But, like that's.
I use my like my show. Like I use my table. Like I have my. It's just I use a separate Zoom camera, and then it's just a separate Zoom box, and that's how we stream it. It's just two. I have my camera on me, and then I've got my camera on the table.
Wait, are you not all at the table, or is it just like?
Nope.
No, like
that's
the
interesting.
closest person to me lives 5 hours away.
Gotcha, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I gotta check that out then. That's really sick.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a bonus for sure. Doing that though, do you have like challenges at all, like people not being able to see anything or not anything, but like seeing like the scenario or like where they are or like perspective, stuff like that?
For the most part, they do really well. I think there are some times where because I don't like to have it just for me finding the right, like how far away or how close I should get, but I always try to have where you can see everybody's mini on the map, and everything, like so that they can see everything. But for the most part, no. Sometimes the communications, like they're like, I want to move over here, and I'm like, where? So they have to tell me, and then I'll get up and I'll point and I'll be like, here, no, just a little bit further up, and then I point, and then, yes, there. But other than that, no, not really. But, and I've used Roll20, Tabletop Simulator, and now this, and yeah.
I think I really like to DM more than I like to play. I mean, I love playing, but only when I can play joke characters. But I like being in control of like the narrative. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's a selfish thing. I don't really know. I'm not really sure what it is. But I like DMing. I don't want to DM online, just because like the Roll20 thing and the tokens and stuff, and I don't have the space here to set up anything physical. And I think that's another part of it for me, just because it's like I don't get to be in control. And it's slow for me. It's hard for me to get into it. I think a lot of the stuff that we've been doing with mid-level has been helping a lot, just because it's all theater of the mind, and we can kind of just have fun with it, and it's not super rule heavy unless it has to be. So I think that makes it a little easier and quicker to get through as well. Yes, Chills. Technically, I am DMing right now, but. I think we're all a little bit in the driver's seat here.
I miss playing at a table, at our real table. Like I loved cooking for the guys. Like that was like one of the things that I looked forward to every week is like I liked to cook for a large group of people. and just having them in the house and having them, sit around a table. Like I miss that.
Yeah,
And
the social part of
online,
it.
yeah, online it does feel different. It does feel like there's more of a disconnect with my home group anyway, because like you don't know what everybody's like, and we play with our cameras off, like my home game does anyway. We probably should switch to cameras on because it would fix some of the problems. But you don't know if somebody's like, it's not my turn in combat, I'm watching this Netflix thing, or it's not my turn in combat,
Right.
I am totally playing this video game right now. Chills. So, but streaming, that's a whole other. I feel like that is different. Like I love streaming because everybody is on, and like you see if they're not paying attention, unless you're playing, which I have played with very terrible performers before. But like when the camera's on, like you are in character, you are on, you are paying attention to the story, and so that online aspect, if you are I hate saying performing, but you're performing as your character. You're playing the game, but you're also like so much into your character that you're performing because people are watching and your friends are watching. So like that's a whole other beast. And I really enjoy that because like, it's exhausting and exhilarating and fun. So y'all know that. So.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. Quick segue though. You said video games. What's your favorite video game right now, if you're playing one?
I got Mass Effect Legendary, so I just beat one again. Well, I've played them before, but I'd actually never played one before. I'd played 2 and 3 multiple times, but one I had heard was so broken that I was like, I'll just watch and the main story beats and then whatever. But I finished 1 and now I'm playing through 2 again. And it's just like, I love it so much. That's what I'm playing now. But obviously Fallout 76 and so Elder Scrolls and Skyrim. I played through Skyrim like so many times. But I love video games.
All games that Ryan doesn't play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I might be the worst person on this call right now.
Yeah, Ryan, you gotta play Skyrim for God's sake.
I've never played
Ridiculous.
Skyrim, never played Fallout, never played Mass Effect.
I've never completed more than like a few of the main quests in Skyrim, though I did play like probably a dozen hours as a cat lady running around fist fighting things in a dress, and that I had a really good time with. So.
Oh good. And WoW and Diablo, like
There you go.
don't ask how many hours of games.
That's my
play.
realm. That's my world right there. I
mostly
grew
play
up.
indie games.
What's that?
So like I mostly play indie games, so I'll just like shill out Hades and Hollow Knight right now. So
Okay, please tell everybody that's watching that may or may not know, what is Hades? What is that?
Hades is like a
AKA
roguelike
just
game.
tell Ryan what Hades is.
It's a roguelike game, so it's like every time you die, you get put back to the start, but you like have like basically carry over stuff. So like as you progress, you get stronger and stronger, so you can eventually break out of the underworld and continue through. But it has like pretty good, I'd say a fantastic story based on like Greek mythology, following the character Zagreus, who is this often not talked about son of Hades, who is trying to break out of hell.
There you go. See,
That's
I
true.
love Greek mythology, and I don't know that I know a single thing about this game. But I remember when it came out, and everybody on Twitch was like streaming it nonstop.
It's a fantastic game. I mean, it's by Supergiant Games, and every game they've ever put out has been a fantastic game. So,
Yeah, well, like Jen said, I grew up with EverQuest. I played that from 1999 up until like 2007, and then I started playing World of Warcraft from 2007 to present day. Not as much lately, but
Order Alliance.
I started off as Alliance, and then a few years back, I played with my dad a lot. And my dad and our we had, at one point when we were Alliance, we had a top 10 rating guild, which was like one of this is gonna sound really dumb, but like one of my peak moments of my life was reaching top 10 on our server for rating, and I was like 16 years old. It was so sick. But then we had everyone kind of took a break. We got burnt out, and then when they came back, they're like, we're gonna go to Horde. I was like, I'm not gonna do that because I have so much time invested in this Alliance character, all like the best gear that I can get, unique gear that I got along the way from 2007, and now you guys just want to swap? No, thank you. But I did, and I now have an Excel sheet to keep track of my characters. I have a whole server of max level Alliance characters, and then a server of like 4 max level Horde characters, and then everything else in between 1 and max of all 11 classes or 12 classes or whatever it is, 1 of each on each server. So that's my world. That's what I do. And Destiny with Dane.
Ooh.
Not Lily though.
A lot of Destiny 2. The season's winding down another like day and a half of that. Finished the main story of Assassin's Creed Valhalla recently. So I'm excited to finally finish that. Been sitting on that for a while. Every now and then still popping into GTA Online to spin the wheel. It's a go-kart this week apparently, so.
Yeah, I spun that a little while ago before we started. Didn't win it though. Don't want it.
Yeah.
Did you play Red Dead?
I played a lot of Red Dead. I haven't played online really that much because I played a little bit when the online was first like available, but then it's similar to GTA. Like it's a lot better to play online if you got like a crew of people you're playing with. But main game Red Dead played a lot.
Same.
That's like one of the best games ever.
Put a lot of time into Cyberpunk. I still have to re-download because I never finished Cyberpunk amid like the myriad of issues that they've been having with that. But I still want to finish it just to, close that chapter of my life and be able to be like, all right, fine, I actually finished a game before I just jump back into Destiny for eternity.
What about the Neverwinter game?
Oh, quick question, Ryan. How much money have you spent?
Don't want to talk about it. Let's next question. Next question. Yo, we started playing Neverwinter 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, probably. We played it super hard for like 4 months and spent way too much money on all the microtransactions. Way too much money, a disgusting amount of money. And then stopped playing it. Then we stopped. All of us just stopped playing it.
Yeah.
Also happens to our group too. we all got into Grim Dawn, and then Vanilla came out. Like wow, and then we all jumped over here. It's like we get hardcore. Like our group gets hardcore into like we're gonna play this, and then all of a sudden the new shiny toy comes out, and it's like jump. And so I was like, no. Playing Mass Effect, y'all do the jump shiny thing. I'm just gonna focus on Mass Effect, and then I'll jump and go crazy again with y'all. So we do that.
What was it? All the World of Warcraft, the store mounts. I own all of those. I've spent way too much money on World of Warcraft in general. Neverwinter was a lot of money. Kingdom Hearts.
Ooh.
Kingdom Hearts, God of War, top shelf for me. As far as platform games go.
Did you play the newest God of War, Ryan? I don't remember. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. The ones that I don't really like though are like, Spider-Man. Or I know. I
love Marvel.
I don't like the games. I don't know what my deal is. I just don't like things. I don't like.
This isn't Spider-Man, it's Carnage, but like
yeah.
the Lego bus.
I'm so stoked for the movie. The Venom 2.
Oh yeah.
Very stoked on it.
Also,
That's
Ryan,
me, I knew he was
feel
gonna
bad
say
I'm not playing those games when I'm here, since I haven't played like the AAA like big title games and Super Mario Odyssey. So like haven't played Red Dead, haven't played a lot of things.
There's a new Pokemon game that's out too, right?
Is it the one with?
I haven't played it.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, they re-released Pokemon Snap, which is an old game. Which I was like, oh, I played that when I was a kid. Pokemon
I bet.
Snap. I love it.
I've been on the
It's a
fence
new
about getting
version
that.
of
I haven't
Snap.
touched my Switch in a while.
There's one more that I have. Oh, it was a Pokemon Unite. That's what it is. That's what I was
that's
thinking
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Microtransaction laden MOBA.
No, it's the Unite one, not the Snap. Very not connected. I had another one. Final Fantasy.
Oh.
I was
Everybody's kind of.
I- I've only played Final Fantasy VII, the original one, and never finished it. And I have the new one downloaded and haven't even started it.
You're killing me.
I know. I don't know what my problem is. I think I just need to take a vacation.
Piece of
I
shit.
need another pandemic. Is what I need. Sorry, I won't wish that onto this world. I just need more time for video
Apex
games.
Legends is like huge right now, and in our community, everybody's playing Apex Legends. Like, I haven't got to play it.
That
But
is Apex a Xbox game?
I think they're all playing on PC.
Oh, it's a computer game. I don't think I knew that. I don't know anything about Apex.
Yeah.
I know our friend Chuck plays it. Fortnite's a big thing with the kiddos. When it first came out, like, dude, like I was playing it almost every freaking night. Because there's the campaign mode and then there's the PvP. The campaign mode is freaking fun. Like, oh man, I sunk so many hours into that, and Minecraft. But I was in Minecraft when it was beta. Like, I played beta Minecraft like years and years ago. Like,
I have an
15
email
years
thing somewhere from the Fortnite campaign, because they did an event at one point of like, if you beat all the current content before this date, we'll send you one. I finished it like 2 weeks before that. And like 6 months later, they sent me this enamel pin. I was like, oh, I haven't played Fortnite at all in like 4 months then.
That's awesome.
but it's fun, right? The campaign mode was like actually like it was kind of fun. Like,
The campaign mode was pretty good. They
I didn't know there was a
of
campaign mode.
slowed down on they kind of slowed down on that because a lot of people don't know there's a campaign mode.
yeah, everybody's just like, oh, we're gonna do the 100 versus the PvP 100,
Battle
like, or
Royale.
50 or whatever. Yeah, the battle
Yeah.
royale. I was like, no. Campaign.
I did also play a lot of the battle royale at that point, and
Me too.
I think grinding through the campaign to get that pin, it really contributed to me getting over Fortnite. It's like I don't need to keep playing this anymore.
The end goal is here.
Do you play any like with your communities? I don't know if there's any that do like what is that game? Like Phasmophobia.
Yes.
Or,
Yeah, Danny's big into that. Like
is it-
Danny, yeah. Danny and Paprina and
What's the
and all
other
them.
one? Where you play as like the is it not Left 4 Dead? Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight, yeah, they play that. But I play Left 4 Dead. Yeah, Dead by Daylight, they do all of those. And then Eddie, who's one of my friends, Discount Bard, he is known for Sea of Thieves. Like, he's the pirate. So his streams mainly on his channel consist mainly of Sea of Thieves. But he does those every once in a while. But yeah, Bree, Utaime, she does those games too. But yeah, they're really popular in TIO and some of the other circles that we run in.
I'm gonna have to jump back in there, find some time to play, because I've been trying to get these guys here to play one of those with me on stream, because I want to play them, but I know that they're only going to be fun with friends.
You should do the forest. Have y'all played the forest?
Oh, I love the forest.
So good. Did you
Never
beat
even
it?
heard of it.
Have you beat it?
Fuck no.
You should beat it because they're coming out with it. Well, no spoilers. I'm not gonna say if it's related to the first one or not, but there's a second one coming out.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's so good.
I used to play the forest with my friends all the time. So good. I never beat it because I'm a pleb.
You need to, because
I watched
it's
you
really good.
beat it.
I'm a completionist.
Same.
Like book series, it's really hard for me, like, to not finish a book series, even if it starts getting crappy. Same with video games and TV shows, because it bugs me. Like, to this day, I'm still upset that I have not seen the last season or the last like half of the final season of The Mentalist. And that show's been off air for a long time, and it still to this day bugs me because I'm such a completionist. I have to know how this ended. So.
That's how I am with World of Warcraft. Like my achievement points is I think I'm over 20,000 right now. Just I have to. And Dane, you're the same way with PlayStation games, right? All your platinum trophies.
Yeah. I only have like 8, but especially once you start getting to a certain point. A lot. One of them's a Telltale game though, so that doesn't really count. So.
Oh, that doesn't count. Yeah, you just have to play the game.
But yeah, well, especially once you start seeing, you get to that certain point, this was in striking distance, or when you play games like the Sony Spider-Man game, that's a pretty feasible and easy platinum to get. It's you just kind of want to have it at that point.
Yeah. I can't remember the...
Or clearing the map in Skyrim, or stuff like that, where it's I need to make all these go away.
Was the Kingdom Hearts one, was that easy or no? I don't think it is, because you have to do a bunch of different things. And
yeah, there's a bunch of weird stuff
secret
you have to do with
the
gummy ships. The secret boss, it's kind of anticlimactic when you actually get the secret boss done from Kingdom Hearts 3. I think it's kind of cool, but it's meh. There's no clouds parting moment of this is incredible. It just ends and you're oh, all right, this is done now.
You just said clouds parting, and I know what you meant, but I was thinking of Cloud getting a haircut and getting a hard part in his hair.
Right, which is, funnily enough, that none of the Final Fantasy characters are in Kingdom Hearts 3, but that's a whole other conversation. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes, very excited for the sequel for that.
Oh, the guy that made the D&D adaptation for the Fallout game, that we were doing, he made an adaptation for Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's sick.
Oh, yeah.
D&D adaptation. Yeah, I was
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I want to do this.
Everyone's gotta love mech dinos.
Yo, speaking of that, I was talking to Eddie about this. Do you guys know what's his name? Keith Baker? He wrote the Eberron stuff for D&D.
Oh, yeah.
He did a follow-up a few months ago, and I can't remember what it's actually called, but in the follow-up, it's on the DM's Guild. You can buy the hardcover book of it. It has Warforged druids that when you do the wild shape, you can stay in your Warforged form. And it's basically like the Transformers Beast Wars stuff.
Nice.
It's
That's
incredible.
very awesome.
It's very, very cool.
Was not sure what you were talking about first. I was what?
Oh yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's actually called though, but I know it's on the DM's Guild.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'll look it up quick and I'll link. Because I keep wanting to buy it, but I'm waiting to see if Wizards buys the licensing for it, like they did with the first Eberron book.
I think the coolest thing ever is anytime someone makes a thing and converts it to D&D. I literally just bought, I don't even know how many of these books, but they had Lord of the Rings RPG converted into D&D books. That's I think 4 or 5 of them, and I had to do it off bids because they're so expensive now. They don't print them anymore. And I think when they do stuff like that, it's so cool. Every single time. I was reading the Lord of the Rings one, and there's some rules in it, and it's that is so sick. The rules they do, the traveling system that they do. It's and the more I think I look around and see other homebrew stuff, the more I see it. It's very, very similar to it. And every single time it's hell yeah.
So much
You
work.
give just someone different roles. For oh, this person's the hunter, this person's the guide or whatever. But yeah, any conversion. It's D&D in that kind of sense. Oh, it's always so cool. It's have you ever wanted to play in in this world? Here you go.
Well, that's basically what you're talking about is the Magic the Gathering stuff that's going on right now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You mean essentially, pretty much. That's more under the IP of Wizards, so it's a little bit well, I mean, yes, that is kind of what I'm talking about in terms of hey, playing this world is really sick. I'm thinking of things that were not meant in the Wizards of the Coast IP, things that weren't meant to typically be D&D and then converted and became D&D related. The Fallout thing, that's sick. Like I want to look that up as soon as this is over. Like the what was it? we just talked about 2 seconds ago. I mean, Lord of the Rings, obviously, and then there's the third that we just were talking about. Oh, and the Horizon thing, like that's cool. I mean, I haven't played that game, but like the fact that someone can like change that so you can play that in D&D is like brilliant to me. Like that's so awesome.
Well, speaking of, in the chat right now, I've been sending links to these things that we're talking about.
Oh, thank God.
The Avatar: The Last Airbender RPG
Oh, yeah.
that's coming out.
That looks so cool.
I just linked that Kickstarter.
Keep looking at it and just seeing like, I think it's like 270 Canadian dollars for like, including shipping and everything to get like everything, and I'm like, that almost sounds worth it. Those are some fancy dice.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I like keep looking at this thing and I'm like, no, I can't. I gotta look away from it. 6.8 million pledged of a $50,000 goal
Wow.
with 10 days still left.
That's the link for the Horizon. They call it Horizon Zero Dragons, but
Sick.
yeah, it's really awesome.
Man, I didn't even think about mech dragons.
Is it the
I'm
The
like
wiki
really
got
just
one?
looking through all this right now, like really quick. Thanks for sending in the thing, because that saved me like 10 minutes of my life. I just gotta save that for later.
to go back to the Dead by Daylight thing, they're talking about it in the chat right now. The draw for that game to me is the amount of killers that they have, like all the different licenses that they have for that game. If the problem is, because I'm a completionist, I want to own them all, and I did the math, and it's like $200 to buy all of the things. So I'm waiting for like,
They
a
go on
sale.
sale pretty
Yeah,
frequently.
yeah, I'm waiting for a sale. So someone's gonna have to let me know when that happens, because I'm also not actively watching it. But I very badly want to
Pretty
own them all.
decent chunk of the killers. Like,
Same exact thing with the Dungeons and Dragons Magic the Gathering cards. I want all of
Oh,
those.
that's that. Yeah,
And
oh,
I-
dude.
I'm not gonna play them. I just want to
That's-
have them.
Want them? Yep.
That's pretty much why I stopped playing Magic the Gathering in the first place. It's like
Just
I
wanting the
can't,
cards?
I can't keep buying more cards.
Mhm.
There
Yeah,
will
that's
always
amazing.
be more cards.
I have
Especially if you're like playing standard or modern and like trying to stay current as things keep rotating out.
Dude, Modern's insane.
It's like just keep giving Wizards my money.
an absurd amount of Magic the Gathering cards sitting in the other room that are just
Same.
doing nothing.
Yeah, I have so many decks. It's actually nuts. Like for Commander and Brawl, the D&D set is the most brilliant thing in the actual world. Like it's
I can't believe
so...
it took him this long to make one.
Yeah, I was reading something. I don't know, like this week. I think either this week or last week. I was reading and like Wizards said that it's like, oh, we're not gonna do anything like outside of like Magic the Gathering kind of thing again. And it's just like, why? I really hope that was like some kind of like either I'm reading it wrong or something, because like they should just do D&D sets like all the time. It's so smart.
Wasn't their first crossover set like, what's it called? Like Walking Dead or something?
They did a Walking Dead like promotional thing where it's a secret lair, and pretty much they printed out like only like Walking Dead like character cards that like they aren't like a like alternate art of a different card or anything like that. It's just there as it is, and like people were like not about it at all. Like they hated it like, for no reason. I don't know why. It was like okay. The cool thing. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, if you can do that, you can keep printing stuff from another franchise you own. Like,
Yeah, say they own the IP. It's like not even like that hard. Like, they also did a Godzilla thing in Ikoria, which was a couple sets back, where they had alternate art of cards, and like it would be a Godzilla monster, or like, and that was really fucking sick. The D&D set though, like that is the coolest set. Like I think it might be
One of my players was in the commercial for it.
really who?
Alicia Marie, the
Oh,
one
yeah,
that was
yeah.
the barbarian, and then
Yes.
she's in my game. I was like, Alicia, you
sick.
didn't tell us you were going to be in the commercial.
I didn't
So
realize
weird.
that all the people that were in that commercial were in that. Like, I didn't realize that was even gonna be a thing. And when I saw, because there was a couple different ones, wasn't there? Because there was one that B-Dave.
There was a
B-Dave did
long one
few.
and then snippets,
Yeah.
like short. Yeah.
Let me see
Get it
if
up.
I can find it. I'll send it to the Twitch chat.
Yeah, do that because I actually want to watch it
What's
again.
that? What's the set called? D&D,
Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, like scrolling through, and then I see that, and I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, oh, "Alicia!"
That's awesome. I made a like brawl Drist deck, and it's so much fun. And like my friend made a Tiamat deck, and that shit's so impressive. Like literally, Anthony is at like Bond's like a game shot in Amsterdam right now, and he's playing Commander, and he made a Volo like Commander deck, and pretty much the way it works is like, oh, you play anything that's like not in the gray, like if you play a creature and it's like not the same creature type as one in your grave or field, you make a token copy of it, and it's just like, so it pretty much just like swarms the board with like all these ETB or on the battlefield triggers, and it's so dumb. Like it's like the stuff they make like in this set was so sick. Like I wish they didn't, I feel like they didn't do enough. Like they didn't make a Strahd card, missed opportunity, or a Van Richten card, should have done that. Like there's so many characters that if they put into it.
Well, was the current batch like specifically Forgotten Realms, or was it just
Yes,
D&D
I think
Realms?
I think it was, and I think that's why they didn't do it, but they should have anyway.
A Ravenloft set would be awesome.
They're doing Innistrad next, which is the like equivalent, like not
Yeah.
yeah, it's
the
Gothic horror.
Yeah.
The Gothic horror realm. And I'm like hoping beyond hope. It's like, hey, here's an alternate art of a card, and it's like it's Strahd or something. That'd be so good. Like,
I do love that in the now I forget what it's called, the like little modules for like converting like Magic the Gathering realm stuff to D&D stuff. In the Innistrad one, there's just a little section in the back for converting Curse of Strahd to Curse of Innistrad, and even just
Wait.
the name on that is perfect.
wait, what? Really?
Yeah, that's what are those called? Plane Shift? Yeah, the Plane Shift book.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Plane Shift Innistrad just has a little section to convert Curse of Strahd to Curse of Innistrad, and I just love that so much.
That is cool. I like that a lot.
So I can't find the trailer. I found all the snippets, and I wouldn't be able to tell which one is which without actually watching them, and it'll pick up through the desktop audio of OBS, so I'm not going to actually watch them. But if you go to YouTube and you type in Forgotten Realms Magic the Gathering, you can watch a bunch of trailers with some really awesome people in it, including Alicia Marie. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else, guys? And girls and friends and family? Anything else?
Ryan, when is session 0 going to print sweatpants? 'Cause I really need
Sweatpants?
to know. Yeah.
2023.
When are you
Wrong
gonna get me
answer.
a nice sweater?
See, the sweater is closer. We're doing, spoiler, we're doing, I'm doing,
Am I helping by badgering you to make me a sweater?
no, I had a sweatshirt idea, and everybody hated it. So now I'm the only one that liked it, because it was going to be a white sweatshirt, and I really, really wanted it, because I loved the design. The
which one was
Nightmare
it?
one.
Oh,
Spoiler.
wait, people
Spoiler.
hate it. Who
Who's
hated it?
everyone? Did I tell you I hated it?
I don't
love the
know.
Nightmare. What's
I don't
wrong
I
with
don't
you?
remember.
There's a little
Right.
nightmare
Anyways.
behind me.
I might have
Anyways,
said that just because it's not on sweatpants, and I've been harassing you about that for a couple years now.
coming out with a long sleeve, a black long sleeve shirt, a windbreaker, rain jacket, or as we like to call it here in the biz, a tutor, breakers of wind, a t-shirt, and I think a dad hat. I think I'm gonna do a hat.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I'm
So-
excited to see how that's gonna look
It's
like.
gonna be the fall stuff.
Ryan, Anthony was like has been drawing on that app thing that you showed him.
Yep.
Like, yeah,
Okay.
he's been drawing for the past like 2-3 days. And I was like, "Oh, is your thing gonna be on a shirt?" And he's like, "I don't know." It's just what he said to Ryan. I was just like, "Oh, okay." And we were just like looking at things like, "Oh, what's in the IP?" just to try to avoid just in case.
It's very small. The ones that you can't use. It's very small.
You'd think, but it like every single like idea that I like threw out to him is like, "Oh, draw this." It's like, "Oh, nope." Yeah.
I think it's the big ones. Like you can't do mind flayers, you can't do beholders, you can't do displacer beasts.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which is so unfortunate because
and
the
like
Spacer
their
Beast
alien
is so
races.
cool.
Like you can't
I
do the
love-
to get the Yankees.
I love this Blazer Beast.
They're
Yeah,
so cool.
Displacer beast is I think my favorite D&D creature.
No, it's Roper, you liar.
No, ropers are tight. Don't get me wrong. Ropers are really tight. Ropers.
I
and,
asked you. You said my favorite is Ropers.
No, my
and you
favorite is
cannot do
definitely
That's a good
Displacer beast.
question. What's everybody's favorite
There you go.
favorite
Dude.
creature?
It was Beholders, but I'm not sure anymore.
I mean, we have 2 here for Displacer Beasts. So.
I think any creature that has like a blink function, I'm all on board with, especially more recently listening to the setup for the current arc in the Adventure Zone. And there's a part where they talk about blink sharks, basically like hammerhead sharks that can do that. Something about that
Wait, you're
image
talking
in
about
my head
Ether
is like,
Yeah.
yeah, Ether Seed.
Wait,
This
Devil
sounds
3 come out?
amazing.
No, did you listen to the setup arc?
no.
there was, like,
that's
5 or
right, I
6
skipped
setup
that.
episodes?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
In that, they talk about blink sharks, which is great.
It's
That is
terrifying.
great. It is
and it's amazing.
great.
Or
I should listen to those. Fuck.
or blink aboleth. Like, oh, that'd be really scary.
Yeah.
Blink
Blink-
out of the water onto land and then bring someone back down to the water
Oh
with you.
man. But there's
Yo.
something about being in the ocean where it's already like black around you, and then you just see a great white swaying towards you, and then it just disappears. There's something
Yeah.
about that. It's just like gives me
It's a,
chills.
yeah, it's a horror thing, dude. It's so cool.
It's very good. What's yours, April?
Banshees and hags are my
Good ones.
faves. Banshees and hags.
Good ones.
Those are my 2 favorites for sure.
Any particular reason?
Yeah, because banshees can basically TPK you if you're like they can. They did. They actually TPK'd my party one time. Like, and it's brilliant. Like how fast everybody can go down. And hags because there's so many different varieties and they're smart and they can create your entire campaign. There's just so many. They can turn a lawful good character and twist them and twist a knife and completely change that lawful good character into more like maybe chaotic evil. Like they can just pull you in such a way with deals that you make with that. Like, I don't know. I love them. They're so narratively beautiful because of their intelligence and the deals and just their backgrounds and the different backgrounds that they have. I don't know. Sorry. I love hags so much.
I've dealt with
There's
hags.
always just something nice about an old witch lady in a hut.
Yeah, I dealt with hags like once in a Curse of Strahd game that my brother ran, and we dealt like 3 hags at once, and we were like level 3, I think, and I do not know how we lived through that, and he was not holding back. I don't know how we got through that like unscathed. I cannot remember. I think as a windmill. I think we burned it down. That was the only reason we were able to get out of that fine.
I've been really into the idea of learning how to actually play the creatures how they should be played. Just because
Did you read The Monsters Know What They're Doing? Have you read that book?
Oh, you mean this book that I have right here that I read
Yeah.
every day? For sure. It's great. It's been helping me a lot. There's some things that I've been doing with certain creatures. Like the other day, I had them my Tuesday game. I had them fight Drow in the Underdark, and it was just Drow. It was simple Drow, but I played them smart enough to be like, the rogue is going to keep dipping off into the darkness and using sneak attack, and the caster is going to stay back, and if anyone gets close, it's going to blink away. What is the spell?
Misty Step.
Misty Step away, and then or levitate and fly away. And I did a lot of damage to them. They were basic stat block drow, and it was like if you play them smart enough, you can do a lot to damage.
Oh no!
And Eddie, guess what?
that book. I'm going to literally. I'm going to burn that book. That's gonna be. If I had
you can burn it now. I've already read the Beholder part.
I'll kill you then. I'll kill your life. Literally, if there was even a chance I would even live before. I mean, there wasn't, but if there was a chance I would live before. Now there's 0. Hearing that, oh yeah, a drow. I made him super OP because I played him smart. Dude, what?
Didn't increase health at all. I usually do when I'm like
so
just throwing things at them. I'll like increase the health just a little bit, just so that they can at least last a round because they all do a absurd amount of damage. But no, these ones I was like, yeah, they die in one hit. The basic ones that are just kind of like spreading out. But then the caster and the sneak attack damage, advantage with a crit does like 60 damage. Like you can't really negate that. It's piercing damage. You have nothing against that.
My only hope was like, oh, I know I'm gonna die no matter what. There's no way out. Saving Anthony is my only option, and now you're making like, oh yeah, you're both dead. You're so dead. Get around. I'm gonna be so upset.
We'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll let the dice figure it out.
Disintegration rate, death rate.
I gotta
like
no. That's not how that works.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, I was looking at the like even like simple creatures like skeletons. They have intelligence. They have a like they're skeletons of their past lives. So if they were a rogue, they're gonna be acting like a rogue. They will take them a time to pick up a weapon or run, like hide from something, or like they're smart when it comes to combat. Zombies aren't. Zombies are just, they're gonna go for you. But a skeleton can be scary if it's played the right way. And it's really interesting.
That is.
Have any of you heard of I think it was called Tucker's Kobolds?
What is it?
It was Tucker's Kobolds. It was a thing that used to go around a lot in like online D&D communities and stuff. It's basically a story of someone who was playing with a group and they were talking about how they're going to slaughter all these kobolds. It's just a bunch of kobolds, no big deal. Essentially, it plays out in the same way you're talking about this thing. So them using proper tactics, everything is like they go into a kobold's tunnel system, and this group of kobolds is just using traps against them, like hit and run tactics in areas where the players can't get into. This group of higher level adventurers just getting their asses handed them by the book kobolds.
Yeah, it's wild. Like you
play it right.
Yeah, you tuck a kobold into like these little, like even with arrow slits, like put those things in walls. You can't hit them, like you can't target them, but they can shoot you through these arrow slits. What are you gonna do about it? Like they can just whittle you down and stay hidden the whole time. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. D&D is incredible.
I'm actually super excited to buy that book myself. It's super cool.
Which one?
The
Monsters Know What They're Doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's on Audible if you I listen to audiobooks and it helps.
Yeah.
Like
I have like 9 points or whatever of Audible just because I forgot I had Audible, and like half a year went by and I was like, oh wait, shit. Like I have like all this money missing. What happened?
Oops.
Yeah.
There's the sequel to this one is coming out in November.
Oh, right.
That's gonna have Mordenkainen's and I believe
Xanathar's?
Not Xanathar's.
Really?
Just
Heard.
Bolos? Is it Bolos?
Oh, Bolo. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
I was trying to think. It's like which ones? Like I was trying to like go through my head with like all the monster manuals. Like
Creature Codex by Kobold Press.
Yes. Creature
Especially
Codex.
playing with veteran players that like know all the creature stat blocks and like I know exactly what this beholder is gonna do. I'm like, oh really? Well, here's my Creature Codex. Guess what this does? You don't know. Like, I love that.
Tomb of Beasts. I love Tomb of Beasts.
Tomb of Beasts, yeah.
Yeah, I got 1 and 2, and I bought them a while back, and I read through them, and like, there's so many. Like, there's a star dragon, and I'm like, that is so sick.
I think I have the second one. Stone Beast 2.
Yeah, this has a wasteland dragon, and I was like, ooh, Fallout.
There's a D&D stream. I can't or not a D&D, a podcast, D&D podcast called the Dungeon Cast. I've been listening to that, and it's basically the exact same thing as the Monsters Know What They're Doing, where they do episodes like between 20 minutes and an hour, where they talk about a particular creature or like a piece of lore or a classification of like aberrations or the Raven Queen or whatever it is, and they'll talk about it and their motives and what they'll do and what makes them scary and how to use them properly. And that's a lot of fun too. And they don't do like a lot of like side conversations. They're usually just like pretty on track with what they're talking about, and it's come in, give you the knowledge, get out. It's pretty cool. I've been enjoying it.
There's these magazines that I never stop talking about. They're so awesome. The old dragon magazines. There is some articles in them that's like the ecology of a unicorn. Like they'll go have like articles on this one creature and it's non-stop, and it's just like this is.
You
so
like
sick.
unicorns?
It's not
That's a
this
fun creature.
I mean, I particularly don't like unicorns. It's just that's the first one. I was reading them today, and that's the first one that came to my head. And like, there's one on I think a Basilisk. I mean, there's so many issues. There's like 300 issues. They're insane. Like they're just like the best thing ever.
They're not still. Do they still write Dragon? No. Right?
No, I don't think they do. No, but there's so much. Like
they still do the app.
uh
Like, this Dragon Plus was the thing.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I
I
will
don't know
go
if
to
it's
that
still a
in-
thing now.
it's in a heartbeat. No, I'm talking about like the 90s and like 80s
Yeah.
like publications. Like I went to the store I went to, like has vintage D&D stuff. Like there's first edition stuff, third edition, fourth, like all of it. And
I mean, I know they were doing the magazine like through like 3.5 era. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff for 3.5 in them.
yeah, and like ignoring like the clicking that, and I'm going through the oh boy. Oh boy, to buy all that. Anyway, and they're like all the stuff I was reading, like nothing to do with like nothing. Like there's like a lot of stuff that talks like the old stats and stuff, and I look at these old stats and it's like 6 health. What the fuck? And like, and I'll look through all this, and then there'll be like articles and like, hey, here's some herbs that like you can find in your game that like will do this effect, and I'll read the effect. It's like, dude, this can work in a 5e game. That's so sick. Like if I did a like DM again, those magazines are like they're all coming in somehow. They're so sick.
Is there any tropes that you guys like to flip? For example, the hag. You usually think like an old woman in a hut, like Kyle said before. But what about a hag that's like a 6-year-old girl?
Oh, okay.
Baby hags.
Yeah.
Well, there is a specific type of hag that they disguise themselves as something else. Like that's like usually hags like their form and they hate beauty, but there is a hag that disguises themselves to do stuff like bad things. But yeah, I can't remember which one it is. But
What about the rest of you? Is there a trope that you like the inverse idea of?
That is a very good question. I'm trying to think. There's a lot. You know, it's all on my phone. I wrote down like a bunch of ideas I have all the time for D&D, like every waking moment. I bet you $1 million I'll find something. That's.
Can't think of anything specific right now. I was reading. I think I sent it in one of our chats about something about vegan vampires.
Oh yeah, that's so good. That's very good.
blood orange, delicious.
I
Kind of
had
like a trope inversion thing, but like one that's pretty common for D&D nowadays. It's just like, just take any kind of like, oh, this is an evil species. Like, it's not evil.
Oh,
There's no such thing as an evil
I love
species.
right.
I was literally reading back to the magazines, I was literally reading one today, and one of the magic items is cursed, and it's an arrow that does not want to do harm. So what it happens is you like, and it's completely indistinguishable from like other arrows. So you'll pull the arrow and shoot, and right before something gets hit, the arrow vanishes because the arrow is like sentient and doesn't want to hurt people. That's really cool.
I like that.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to discuss, or anything you'd like to mention before we wrap it up? We'll call it there. If anyone can think of anything, but
Yeah, I got a good one. Hey, starting with April, any favorite characters you've played?
So many of them. I love my characters. Like I love so much. Like my favorite, like, because that's such a hard thing. Like I can tell you like my favorite races and classes, but like a favorite character that I've played specifically is so hard because there's just so many that I just love for so many different reasons because they're so different and something unique that I guess I've talked about it before, but I guess I haven't told y'all. But when I am creating a character, my character always has the same, it starts with the same thing, or it has the same, it always has Kai in it. So all my characters start with Kai. Like the Shadow Monk, the Shadow Bugbear Monk, that I loved it too. I played a Shadow Bugbear Monk last night, and her name was Kit. And the Goblin Way of the Long Death Monk that I played in, and I won the PvP tournament, and her name was Kyrigan. They all have Kai in them. So that's something special that I do with all my characters. They all have the same. So that anytime during game, because I play with a lot of the same people over and over again, and it's like, what was your character's name again? For me, it's just like, you call me Kai, and then you'll be right. Like, just shorten my name. It's always going to be Kai. And yeah. So, but yeah, like I love monks and wizards, and I love goblins. I love the goblin race. And now I'm getting to play a fairy in my home game, a sorcerer fairy. So that's been really fun. I'm getting to explore that. We're only level 3, but yeah, so I don't have a favorite because I love all of them.
That's fair. That's fair. There's always one, everyone's got their roster, essentially. It's not even just like I think there's like maybe like 1 or 2 characters that I didn't like, and it was just because I went into the class combination that I was picking wrong, or I was misinterpreting what it was, and I just didn't have fun playing the class. But the character itself, I always find myself like, oh, this is my favorite one. All right, no, this is my favorite one. But actually, no, this is my favorite one.
That time you made the worst druid ever.
The word, yeah, exactly. Yeah, when the first character I ever made for D&D, I made a druid because World of Warcraft. I love wild shaping, so I was like, oh, so I know what a druid is. But when you go into the D&D druid, it's like not even close, not even a little bit. And I was like, all right. And it took us until half that campaign for me to realize, okay, I think I get it now. I think I know what I'm doing wrong here. I'm playing a druid. That's what I did wrong. Because there are things that are more similar to the World of Warcraft classes now that I know a lot more about D&D, and I spent a lot of time reading subclasses and stuff. But yeah, that was one of them. But I do like that character because it was my first one. But class choice was not the best.
Imagine your first character dying, huh? Can you imagine that? Can you rhyme?
My first character did die.
Oh, look at that.
But we all
What a
died.
better way
It was
to-
the closing of the campaign.
Yeah, that's
Seek
true.
out revenge in the world by killing your friend's first character.
One of my favorite ones is one that I made to sabotage Eddie's game that he was running for us. His name is
Oh my god.
His name is Patrick, and he's a Loxodon cleric, which is an elephant race. And he does not want to be an adventurer. He wants to be left alone. He wants to read his books, and he wants silence. Like he likes it quiet. So the first spell I gave him was the silence spell. So anytime things would start to get chaotic around me, I would just cast silence on myself, so everyone around me just couldn't talk. And then anytime he's like, he'd come over with like a quest NPC. It's like, hey, I need you guys to do something. Like, please, I need your help. I'll give you a reward. Blah blah. And I'm like, oh no, thank you. That's okay. I'm gonna pass on this one. It's just like,
I love that.
That's just my thing.
That's hilarious.
What about you, Kyle?
I am kind of in a similar boat to April, where I love every character I play. I probably wouldn't play a character if I didn't love them. But one of my favorites is definitely Miss Deirdre. She is a 68-year-old woman. I try and put on like a voice for it. Hang on, I'm trying to do it. Oh, hello, dearie.
Oh my god.
We just watched Mrs. Doubtfire earlier today, and that's what made me think.
That's
Love it.
awesome.
I loved playing her. She was a lot of fun. She was like a life cleric that I kind of like, stat-wise life cleric, but I had good berries, so I have like a bag of 10 berries that's like 40 HP healing out of combat. And it's just like, every time she sees someone, she's like, oh, dearie, would you like a berry? And like, she's like this entirely wholesome older woman who decided to go adventuring because her youngest child had just left for wizard college. So she's like, I'm gonna go and have my own little adventure now. And yeah, she has like 6 strength and is just constantly like seeming all good natured and stuff, with just like some like dreadful dark undertones occasionally popping up. Like there's some shit going on there.
Like Betty White. It's like
Yeah.
so wholesome and sweet, and yet high. Like she says things, and you're like, Betty.
Dane, what's your favorite character?
I'm trying to think. One of the first ones I made was that, according to Jen, as Jen pointed out in the chat, that there was a little bit of a PvP conflict in this game, that I did kill Jen's character. Sorry, Jen. Kind of not sorry, a little bit. Is this tiefling warlock that I made, Lucius. It's probably the most thought and time that I've put into a character before. It wasn't just to do it. Like there were like story reasons for it. But then at the same time, then I got to try out a totem barbarian and see what else I could do to break Terry's game. Other than that, I do really like in that game that Damien DMs for us, the grappler rogue fighter Goliath that I made, Dagoth, which built up a little bit to being able to wrestle a fire giant at one point.
It was one of my favorite sessions ever.
Wildest set. So we kind of did a crossover into Descend to Avernus, and this was like the first session / day that we're there and trying to figure out a way to do to get more soul coins to barter. And I don't know why I got this idea stuck in my head, but I was just like, yeah, I'll fight that thing.
I'll wrestle you for it.
Like they didn't even like say that was like a thing, and I was just like, yeah, like, will you give us more soul coins if I wrestle and beat your fire giant? And our DM was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I convinced Jen for the second time for her being able to cast Wish to use it to cast Enlarge on me, so that way I could kind of compete with it. And yeah, a mix of really bad rolls on the DM side and a bunch of like really good rolls on my end, which ended in like a Johnny Cage style, like below the belt kind of hit. I wrestled and beat a fire giant, and it was probably one of the weird
Hand-to-hand combat,
random,
one-on-one.
not planned sessions ever.
I remember like the setup for it, like you saying, oh, we'll wrestle it, and then me being like, well, actually, well, this has to happen now. So what do we do? What do we have to do? Let's go. Come on. I need to see this thing. And it was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. Edward, favorite character?
I was thinking about it. There's a lot of contenders, but I think there's 3 of them. It's like neck and neck. There's one, the character that you're gonna kill next week because you're a piece of garbage. Yeah.
You're not gonna make me feel bad about it, just so you know.
Yes, I will. Watch. Because like he's a halfling paladin, and I didn't choose the race or anything. It was like, or his name. Like a lot of it wasn't chosen for me. But it became my own. Because at first I just role played him like me, except I gave him a fear of spiders or something like that, and that was fun to play. And then like, but as time grew on, he would like gain more and more development. And like he has like this deck of illusions, and like he would do is I'm gonna miss that too. Is he'll take the deck of illusions like, oh yeah, I might seem like a paladin, but in actuality I'm an illusion wizard. He'll just take the deck of illusions and throw it. A lot of fond memories with that, and he has like a flames. What's it? It's the flame sword.
Flame tongue sword.
Yes, the flame tongue. And like his command word is flame on, and so and in our first session we had I'm gonna kill you, Ryan. We had in our very first session I got a spark sword, which like when it hit it did like an extra d6 and like little sparks would fly. It was like a completely homebrewed like weapon obviously, but it was like flame sword and spark sword, and like he has like the cloak of displacement, like all this really fun stuff, and playing that character is really, really fun. And I've always had that like have fond memories of that character until next week, when Ryan decides to be a piece of garbage. I'll just guilt him into not killing it.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You guys have given me the perfect opportunity on a silver platter.
Definitely very mature about the whole thing. Anyway, there's that one. My character in the Curse of Strahd game that Anthony ran is Raymond Aran, and he was this blood hunter, Order of the Lycan, polearm master guy, and he was pretty much, it was a werewolf in the Curse of Strahd campaign, and it's like it was so fun to play that. And like I love Monster Hunters, like, and that whole thing was so great, and and like the development was really, really good with Raymond Aran. Eventually I kind of got bored of Blood Hunter, and I was like, oh, can I change my thing to Illusion Wizard for like in-game reasons? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. But then I looked back at the class later on, and I was like, oh wait a minute, I'm stupid. The class is actually way better than I thought. I wish I'd never changed. And like stuck with the werewolf thing. And I like love that character so much that like, and it's like based on my dad too, because his middle name is Raymond, and I remember when I first made the character, like character traits of my dad went into Raymond Aran. And now I'm playing in the Curse of Strahd game, in Damien's game that we played like last night, is Altharian Aran, who's Raymond's son, and that's really sick. Just because I love Raymond Aran so much. He's probably like, of the 3, he's probably up there. And then the third favorite is in our game, Rabute Krasner. Only if though
my favorite, the one I can't remember.
The name, this isn't the first name because I knew it was. I was gonna say Rob, but I was just like, because they all call him Rob because it's easier to say. But I was trying to remember his full name. But Rob, he's got like this like whole like sub mystery going on, and like his backstory is really, really cool, and I cannot wait to play that out. And like that whole like beginning of our streams, it was just like, what the fuck is with this guy? And like just the feeling of like doing that and like knowing his backstory, I swear if it never gets to play out, I'll cry. Like if that gets to play out exactly how I want it to, and like it just gets fleshed out, that will probably beat them all. But only if that happens. So Dylan, if you're watching this or ever do, you better do as I say, or I'll kill you. I'll go on strike.
So, being said, I think that's where we'll call it. I think we've reached a point. So, if you would like to see more about Robute Krasner, join us on our actual play every other Saturday, or Sunday, which is supposed to be 2 nights, as we continue our story of the Hangman's Oracle with the 4 of us. Minus April, but we are going to get April in because that was the plan, and then things happened and that fell through. So we turned it into a hangout, and I hope it was fun for you, April. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you didn't hate us too much and find us boring, and you'll come back and actually play with us. But real quick, let's do. Let's wrap it up. Let's go around. Let's do April. Let's one more time.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Okay. My name is April Hill. You can find me at stiletto_assassin on Instagram and stiletto DM on Twitter, as well as every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific on the Initiative Order, where I am the overseer for Vault, which is a Fallout TTRPG campaign using the 2D20 system by Modifius, set in the Texas Commonwealth in 2177, 100 years after the Great War. Other than that, I post a lot of nerdy photos and stuff, usually my set builds and mini painting stuff on the Instagram and the Twitter, and I've been getting obsessed with TikTok lately, so I might start posting on there. And hopefully soon I'm going to start streaming some of my crafting and miniature painting on my own channel, so for my Fallout game. So yeah.
Cool. Eddie, do you want to talk about?
I do have one question just about the name Stiletto Assassin. Now, is that the shoe, the dagger, or both?
Both. It was so funny. Somebody messaged me the other day about that too, and they're like, "Have to know." Both. It's both.
Okay. There you go.
Yep.
You heard it here. It's both.
Yep. It's both.
Eddie, do you want to talk about your painting thing?
Yeah. Every Sunday that we are not streaming the Hangman's Oracle game, I'm doing a painting stream where me and Ryan just hang out and we talk about whatever, and I paint something at mediocre level. I do my best. I don't. Next week, I don't think I'm doing that one because my friend's birthday's coming up and life is pain.
We gotta figure out what we're gonna do next week, or maybe have a night off.
I don't know. Next week though, I'm not gonna be there, as far as I know. But
that means next week Ryan's gonna paint, and we're gonna see how that goes.
So I will paint. I will do a makeup tutorial.
I will finger paint a mini.
Finger paint. That actually is a good idea. But anyway,
no, it isn't.
Next week I'm sadly not gonna be able to do it, but after that I should be good. We always paint, we always have fun, make crack jokes. Sometimes my shirt comes off, sometimes it doesn't.
I know, it's wild. We did that once.
We did it like twice. Like the first
that constitutes
two.
A pattern.
Yeah, it happens at least like how many episodes we had? Like 4? So
I don't know.
Like half we've done it.
Don't make it sound bad.
It's some wild
It
stuff.
only
happens
sounds bad if they don't want to see shirtless Eddie.
Yes.
Speaking of shirtless, though, Dane has been rocking his tropical look. How's that weather? Is it getting there yet?
Let's take another look outside. It just looks dark. Yeah,
Weather's dark.
Yeah, but anyway, watch those stuff and join in the little paint streams. That was a fun time.
Ooch just said in the chat he doesn't paint so much as he shows the back of his hands, which is.
I'll get better with it. It's so hard. It's so hard sometimes. Oh god.
Oh man, I love the painting stream.
Yep.
It's really good. Dane or Kyle, do you guys have anything you want to talk about? Because I know Dylan's bad at this. He usually just skips right over there. Is there anything you want to discuss? Cantina, video gaming, whatever.
Find me here. Not really doing too much other than that.
You can also find me here as well as at Cantina 13, which we're starting to come out of a bit of a hiatus now, so in the next couple of weeks we should have some stuff coming up.
I'm hoping there's a vicious mockery thing, maybe.
Yeah, you'd hope.
I sure would hope.
I mean, you've been making references to that the entire time we've been doing mid-level crisis, so really hoping that comes up soon.
I may or may not have a shirt that I've had for a year for
Right.
it. Who knows?
If we ever do one shot, you should make a bard. It's just all you do is vicious mockery, and every single time it just references that shirt.
And then I am the moderator for this channel. I'm Ryan. I'm the owner of Session Zero. It is a Dungeons and Dragons inspired clothing company. You can go check it out at session-zero.com and get some cool stuff. Expand your closet and your wardrobe and make yourself look good while doing it. And get ready for my fall line, which I should be ordering this week. And I'm extremely, very, very excited about the designs. I'm really, really happy with all of them. And that's about it. That's it. Next week we may or may not be here. We're going to discuss possibilities, maybe have a night off, give everyone a break, and then you can find us here in 2 weeks for a continuation, hopefully, of the Hangman's Oracle, with everyone in their new homes, with internet, and no more issues, and no allergic reactions.
No tropical storms.
No tropical storms. Just, man, I really hope we can finish this campaign up, and then we can move on to whatever season 2 will look like, and maybe make this thing grow into something bigger and better. But until then, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for the questions in the chat. Thank you, April, for joining us. Please come back. But that's it for now, and we will see you soon.
Oh.